Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Where do you guys come down on the criticism of the Bills and their fans?
I don't know what you want Bills fans to do. They're excited about their team. They've been waiting for a winner forever.
I'm talking about the Jags. I'm not. Who am I even talking about? I'm talking about the Bengals.
Yeah, I have to admit my totally terrible take. Like after it happened, like they're chain links, like they get kinked or whatever. You know,
right?
Is it too much to ask to have chains with
It
lasers on them?
It is so funny. Like
in college, they have the digital ones. Have you seen those?
No.
Oh yeah, I don't watch college. You don't watch college football because you have a girlfriend. I'd like to have a league where an official can look at it and say, that's not much there.
Right.
I wish that someone would have common sense to do that, but that jackass will probably get the grade that he needs to move on to the next line. Gets the congratulations for having the balls to make the call that sent one team to the Super Bowl. There are plenty of things that you can criticize Kyle Shanahan about.
Flat brim cap and
I
hoodie over it.
I think he gets a little.
Take your skateboard and get out of here.
I think he gets a.
Can we balance the volume or maybe move Paul a few feet away from the microphone?
Yeah, just have Fred not say so many stupid things, and I won't yell.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Fueled by Duncan.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium, and boy, the buzz was created yesterday by one Tom Brady, retiring one day from the year he retired last year. But methinks and everybody else does that this is it. This is truly the farewell for Tom from his playing days in the NFL.
Yeah, I think so too.
You guys don't think it's a marketing campaign for 80 for Brady?
From what I understand, that movie needs all the marketing it can get. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Deuce is here, Alex is here, Paul's here, and yes, we're going to be talking about Tom Brady and his announcement yesterday. One thing I was thinking about on the way home, before last season, I said this is going to be Brady's last year. This is before the divorce. I just felt that was it. But then when he got divorced, I said, you know what? He's probably going to play again. But then I was thinking last night, if I think this is a lot about the kids. Because, like, if you're married and you work a lot, at least when you do come home, the kids are there. But when you get divorced and you work a lot, you come home, the kids aren't there. So if you saw them not enough when you were working and married, you're going to see him even less now. And I think that was a factor. I didn't take that into consideration when I said, yeah, now he's going to play. Now it's even tougher to see his kids, even assuming they have them split.
Yeah.
So now it's even tougher if he's continued to play where he doesn't control his schedule. And I think that probably was one of the reasons why he said, you know what, I got to do it now.
Yeah, the kids are getting older too. I think it's just Vivian's probably the last one who's still. I think Ben, the middle one, is probably getting ready to go to high school of some sort. So the
oldest one I think is starting prep school, right, or something like
Jack.
That. Yeah.
How do I know all their names?
Yeah, we all do. I know their dogs too.
Yeah. So like I now it makes a little bit more sense to me. You know.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think last year was such a false start with everything, and it happened, and he kind of got. I like that this time he just was like, "What's up? It's me on my phone.
I used up my shits last year.
It's me.
That's it. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. Hello from the other side."
But last year's announcement, still people are rankled about it around here because it was all Tampa Bay focused.
Yeah. Well, I know. I saw somebody tweet out I hope he forgets to thank somebody, because there's always some outrage that he left one person out. Oh, he didn't say thanks to that one guy. But I think it's overall just it feels like, you had a false start last year as a Patriots fan, putting that fan hat on. It's you feel like he's back in the family, he's back in the fold. I mean, not for me, of course. We all know how I feel about it, but good to get him back, and I assume we'll get into one-day contracts and potential Brady ceremonies and all kinds of fun things that are coming down the pike.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Kraft was on CNN today and said he's going to do everything in his power to bring him back here. So I hope that happens.
For a one-day contract.
For whatever,
Any capacity will take him.
Yeah,
Funny thing is, a lot of people here are a lot of the newer employees in the content department were like, I'd just like to meet him. I'm like, you guys, I didn't realize people hadn't even been around him.
Probably not going to.
Well, that's the thing. People who have been here 20 years hadn't met him.
Yeah.
That's not the way it works here.
I know. Well, I guess I sat in a press conference. That doesn't really count. I never really.
It's not like the ESPN commercials where we're, bumping into people in the cafeteria and,
Except for Paul, who gets, Josh McDaniels coming up just to check in. And,
oh, yeah.
Sure. He mingles with those.
Bill O'Brien, before he did his video the other day.
Buttered him up. You find out what he's going to do. You get the lowdown.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Well, now you're on the same level as them. They don't even have to go upstairs to see you.
It's true.
So, any thoughts, Paul or Alex, on yesterday's announcement?
Like you said, I kind of feel like it was like one of those things. I was like, do I just retweet the gushy post I posted last year? I don't know. I was desensitized to the news, I guess you could say. Yeah. But, I mean, nonetheless, like, I'm a girl who, my dog's name is Brady. I mean, I'm probably here.
So Mike doesn't like you then?
Yeah,
Mike
that's a bad name for a dog.
I was thinking Mike, maybe now you'd soften it, now that he's...
All right, fine, I will.
I mean, my dog's 10 years old. It's not like I named him Brady, 2 years ago,
Yeah, he only had 3 Super Bowls at that
Exactly.
point. You were still kind of ahead of the curve.
Now, Paul, you're disgusted with the whole thing. Is that right?
No, I'm not. I'm with you. I'm wrong. I was wrong because I thought he was going to keep playing. But I think it might have been as simple as he's told us for a long time that I'm going to play until I'm 45.
Yeah.
He turned 45 and he stopped playing.
Right.
So, I mean, I was with you, Fred. I thought that the way not so much about the divorce, but the way the season ended, I didn't think you would want to go out like that. But,
right. But there's no guarantee if he played it would be any better.
Correct.
Right?
And I think that the other thing that he always said was, when I'm not,
when I
suck, I'll stop playing. And I don't think he sucked last year, but I don't think he played very well. And I think that he would know more than we would how much him not playing up to his normal standards was because of him or because of all the other reasons that we gave all year. No running game, offensive line a mess, no preparation in the offseason, missing 11 days of training camp, and going through a divorce.
Yeah.
We saw physically he looked like hell, at times during the course of the year. But only he would know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of why I didn't play well, but it's not the only reason why I didn't play well.
And think about when he first got to Tampa Bay. He got in there and he was doing stuff during COVID when he wasn't supposed to, and he was redoing the culture in Tampa Bay. But then as it went along, I think that off-season rah-rah kind of tapered a little bit.
Kind of like a reality check,
yeah,
I would say.
And then he realized, you know what, if I do go to another team, which probably is what's going to happen, I'm going to have to, reinvest that same energy, and I may not have it anymore.
So you didn't buy the Jeff Darlington report that he had told Tampa that it was either going to be retirement or Tampa?
He might have told him that, but I don't know, if San Francisco obviously now is out of the question. But if San Francisco came calling, you don't think he'd be listening?
I just asked if you bought the
I think
the report.
I think that
I don't know.
I think in these contract negotiation and leveraging, you say things, but you're always willing to listen to whatever anyone has to say.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are with you.
Yeah.
They said that the timing of it, within the last week, Miami has publicly, stated they're sticking with Tua.
Yep.
And San Francisco has kind of stated that, Garoppolo's going, and we have these other two guys, and Trey Lance and Brock Purdy, that we feel good about. Maybe he just felt like there was no open door there. Yep. I also thought it was interesting that Darlington brought up what we've talked about on this show a lot. Everybody just automatically had him going to the Raiders, and Darlington sort of alluded to the fact that not necessarily because of Josh McDaniels, because I don't think it was great with Josh McDaniels when he left here.
Right. And again, I think the kids are a factor.
Yeah.
And even if it's just to prove Giselle wrong, I do care about these kids. I'm sure in the heat of moments, things were said by both sides about you don't care, and he wants to prove to him, to her maybe no, this isn't. The kids are important to me. You kidding me?
If not prove her wrong, I could totally see them getting back together.
Really?
You're with someone that long, and then I don't know.
I don't think so, Alex.
I don't think there's ever a clean break. There's
there's
reports in TMZ being leaked from clearly his camp that he's not dating. I don't think he's
trying to play the.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a long time to be with someone.
I would lose a lot of respect for him if he did that. I really would. Not that it's any of my business. It's not. I get it.
Yeah.
I'll sit it out.
I would just say something interesting to highlight, probably Alex's side of the street a little bit. But Logan Ryan's wife, I don't know if you saw that, Alex, had a really good post on Instagram. It just said, that Brady and his daughter and Ben and Logan Ryan and his son and his wife as well, they were volunteering at an animal hospital. And, something that never was brought up, and, one of those things where people just are doing good things and not looking for publicity. But I just thought that was a nice highlight of things he was doing with his family, to your point, still trying to be involved. But I think it's absolutely a point. One point I did want to bring up, too, was just with Paul's show I thought was kind of interesting was because I watched Brady this year and, physically within a play, he still looked physically like he can throw the football, he can move okay. He didn't look physically like Peyton Manning in 2015, it's just not there anymore. And Felger and Maz were kind of bringing up the point of he kind of looked like he looked in 2019 here, a little bit like what Paul was talking, a little bit less invested, not quite as locked in as he used to be. And that was the only thing that I kind of wondered was if he were going to go to another team, would he kind of regain that energy?
Well, that's what I said. Yeah, and he knows he would have to.
And it also, I think, just kind of illustrates what a great fit Tampa was for him at that particular point in 2020 when they had Arians, when, Godwin and Evans were still really on the upswing, and, they had the line in place, and everything was just kind of there for him. And, it got harder as it always does. But I'm curious about that Darlington report of what his desire was, because I could see, look, I don't really want to do what you said, go into a new team, have to remake the culture. I'm already here. We've got some pieces. Can we restore things? And they've only got Kyle Trask now. That's your guy, Kyle Trask, the only one last minute.
Add another team to the list of needing quarterbacks.
This morning, I guess the Wall Street Journal and your outlet TMZ.
She's got an outlet. She's got an outlet.
I have shows. You have outlets.
Reported that he will not be joining Fox for this Super Bowl. He's not ready yet. So
yeah.
That makes
Greg
sense.
Olsen.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Now, is Fox has the Super Bowl? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought he would be part of the pre. I never thought for a second he'd be in the booth or anything like that. I just figured you have 9 hours of pregame show. You can't have. You don't have 15 minutes for Tom Brady. But maybe he just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
He has no interest in doing it.
Yeah. So
go on vacation or something now.
I also saw something that said that contract doesn't officially kick in until 25. Is that right? Someone said it on the radio this morning on one of my shows. I forget which one.
Yeah.
Maybe he signed it anticipating to play a little longer.
Maybe.
Keep your shows in line, Paul. Come on.
It is true. Can't believe what you hear on my shows.
I mean, it's smart for him. There's probably a clause in there or it could be earlier if mutually agreed upon or something like that. But he didn't want anything in writing saying, it starts in 24, and then everyone knows that, so they're probably smart about the wording there just in case somebody leaked that language out.
He's probably got enough money to make a bridge year between.
Wouldn't it just be just as when his playing days are over? Whatever. Does it have to? I mean, is it?
Well, Fox probably didn't want to be on the hook for some people never retire. They stop playing, but they don't officially retire, and it's
So what would that have to do with? I don't.
So
understand.
Fox wanted to have some deadline on it. If you're not with us by 25, the deal's off the table.
Oh,
That'd be
okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
They got an out.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
Could be.
That people are saying that it had to be at least because my guess is he's going to be doing it next year.
Yeah, I would think so.
So maybe you have the explanation there.
Yeah. So.
Well, he'll have more time for his kids. I guess he'll just be flying around to games next year on the weekend. Hopefully he does more prep than Tony Romo's been doing.
The best part I liked about the thing is when he sort of poked fun at himself and said, I already made a big deal out of this last year, so I'm not going to do that again.
Thank God.
And I mean, I think for the most part, everybody kind of followed his lead. I mean, there was a little stuff, a little over-the-top stuff on ESPN and NFL Network, but not a ton.
I was irritated, though, at NFL Network last night.
Freddie was irritated.
Because obviously they were talking about Brady all night, but they had one package ready, and so the lead-in, how they have the lead-in the package, they have B-roll. The B-roll was very carefully crafted to make sure it was 50% Patriots and 50% Buccaneers, and that pissed me off.
That's an improper ratio.
He was here for 20 years.
90 to 10.
20 years and 6 Super Bowl wins, 9 appearances.
That pissed me off.
He's there for 3 years, and they get equal billing with the Patriots? That's BS.
I know.
BS, Fred.
That's BS. That's trying too
what
hard.
What are we doing here?
I was even mad that Tristan Wirfs was made the right tackle of the all Brady team. I'm like, get him out of there. I could put Sebastian Vollmer in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that
I'm
really,
joking.
that really,
I'm not. I couldn't tell you.
that really pissed me off.
Is Tristan Wirfs good? I don't know.
the Bucks don't get 50% billing. So, yeah, I hope he does come back and sign a one-day deal. I know Paul thinks it's silly, but I think, for the fans.
I wish you would stop saying things.
No, it's fine. You have a right to say that.
I don't.
Yes, you do. Because it kind of is silly. But for the fans, I think, as titular as it is, or whatever you want to call it.
Can I articulate my feeling?
It makes a difference. It means
closure.
Something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I just, what I mean by I think it's silly, if he's going to come back and be somewhat part of the organization, I don't mean like they're going to make him the general manager or, he's going to have some kind of a title. I don't mean that.
Right.
But I mean, he's not coming back to sign a one-day contract, and then we're never going to see him again other than the day that he gets inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame.
I hope not.
That, to me, is useless. I don't need that. If he's coming back and he's going to be a part of the community, occasionally he's going to be around the team. He's going to be, someone who is, maybe at events once in a while if Robert Kraft needs him to be.
Yeah.
Then that's great.
So you're okay with it as long
I
as...
think he's going to come back and sign a ceremonial one-day contract, and you won't ever see him again.
Really?
I have no use for that.
I'd be disappointed in that. I'd be
Me
really
too.
disappointed.
So don't even bother. The one-day contract thing is I don't know when this started, but it's useless. It's useless.
It's ceremonial.
Well, it's ceremonial,
right?
But
exactly.
I hope you can do that and have him come back for things.
That would be good for the organization.
Yeah.
I would just say for 3 years, a lot of Patriots fans, especially those who listen to Paul's shows, have been pounded with the Patriots pushed Tom Brady out. He hates Belichick. They didn't get along. And, some of this, of course, might be true. But we've been beaten over the head with it for 3 years. So I think that the desire to have a makeup, even if it is ceremonial, is very appealing to Patriots fans to just have some sense of, all right, we're going to put
But
that
that's not
stage
going to make
behind
up
us.
the fact. That's not going to be a makeup for what people think was the problem.
No, I know that.
Because I don't think anybody thinks
No.
that it's Tom Brady versus Robert Kraft.
But now
No.
it's bygones. Let bygones
Right.
be bygones.
Right.
But
and
there are no bygones to be gone with Robert Kraft.
Okay. Well,
There's no mending that needs to be done there.
Some people blame Robert Kraft on your shows.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
heard it.
I mean, I see it more as just the Patriots.
I think I think you're like the son of Sam. I think you have voices in your head.
It's your dog.
Oh, I've not heard that.
You've heard a lot of people blame Robert Kraft and not Bill Belichick for that split.
Okay, so see what he does there?
Yeah, we just
And not Bill Belichick. I've heard both.
You equally. You're saying?
I didn't say that, but I've heard both.
Okay,
I
so
I
someone
just said some people.
So someone called up once and said, "I blame Kraft, not Bill."
Not just once. Not just
like
once.
I don't know.
One of your favorite callers, Danny from Quincy.
That's one of my favorite callers.
Yeah, he's
That's
one of them.
That's one of my favorite. That illustrates the point perfectly.
Yeah.
Danny from Quincy,
That's one off the top of my head.
He's stirring your drink. Who cares what the callers say?
I'm just saying that some people. That's all I said. Some people.
Oh God.
I mean, for me, it's just the Patriots, and I mean, I don't really care who blames what, but it's just bringing him back into the fold, and whether it's just a ceremonial thing. I think just to have Tom Brady back in here and have a picture in the trophy room with him, and he's not Tampa anymore.
I think we should, hopefully it's more than that. There's been a lot of suggestions that have been fired off on social media. Statue, putting the number 12 up in the on the
Now this
stadium.
I'm interested in.
Something along the lines of a Larry Bird. What the Celtics did for Larry Bird.
Another one stealing all my.
I agree with that. I think you can't
Who came
just
up with that?
You can't just do the normal induction into the Patriots Hall of Fame. This has to be an event.
Yeah,
and it's not an event like in August or September.
No,
it's not something you shoehorn in at halftime of the Chiefs game, which I see a lot of people on Twitter, opining. It's something that happens in like May or June, off season, and
standalone event.
Yeah, it's a Larry Bird retirement.
Yeah.
It's a separate event. It's Tom Brady night at Gillette Stadium.
Yeah. So all
the stage is on the field.
Yeah.
Like Peyton Manning comes back.
guy.
Ray
State
Lewis.
holiday.
Ray Lewis comes back.
See?
You know,
Oh.
Ed Reed's in the house. Like all of the Pittsburgh.
down. I
Ben
love it.
Roethlisberger's here. Mike Tomlin comes out with his puffy jacket on, and he's like pounding his chest. I could never beat this guy. Like that's the day that it has to be. You can't do that in 12 minutes at halftime of an NFL game.
Paul, that's a great idea.
Absolutely.
I think
you have to.
I'm here for all of that. The statue, the 12 inside the bowl of the stadium somewhere, whether it be on the lighthouse or something like that, or under the banners.
Yeah.
I'm here for all of that. The one-day contract, you do that on your own.
The only thing I realized I'm not going to be here for is like, well, who gets the bigger statue, or who is Tom
Brady.
or Bill's statue?
Brady.
Are they
Slater.
together?
Oh my God.
Brady.
Are they
Slater.
Where is
Stop.
it put?
Brady's.
I have PTSD.
The answer to all those
from
questions
this.
is Brady.
He gets like a giant one, and then they just have like a little like plaque for Bill, like
No,
somebody's got to think about
Bill,
these things.
Like I was thinking, like you do a statue of Brady, and it's like maybe him like standing on the sidelines, looking off, and then when Bill leaves, you add him next to him, and so now they're both
Chatting
together
about a play
on
together.
the sideline.
yeah.
I like that.
Don't like it as much.
No,
No, it's fine. I'm just kidding.
I know it works.
Paul just wants to stir the pot.
No,
I'm just
it's
kidding.
fun. It's fun. It's
But I don't think you can do too much for Tom Brady night.
I agree.
I mean, I
like-
think that day is amazing.
And I think you also maybe you don't want to do it like this spring, like this May or June, maybe next year, 24.
Yep.
I don't want to wait 4 years.
Right.
I don't want to treat him like every other Hall of Famer.
You're on
Like he has to wait his turn, and like we're not really going to put him through the rigmarole of he's one of the 3 finalists, and we have to let the fans decide.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We're not doing that, right?
No.
We're going to make an
I hope
exception
not.
here.
I'm not in charge of that, and I don't make the rules. So
But Fred,
I would assume.
we all
not.
know you carry a lot of sway around here, Fred.
Well, I if they ask my opinion, I say
just
put
don't
him in,
just
put him in
don't tell
next year.
everybody that it was Paul's idea, because we know that'll be summarily dismissed.
Put him in next year, and then all of Paul's
Unless everybody likes it,
all
then you
the
tell them where you
all
got
the old
it.
curmudgeons on the committee, Paul's friends will be like, "Oh, now that these guys will never get a chance to come in if Brady's going to slip in there." It's like, okay,
No, that's true.
yeah,
That's another reason why you don't put him part of this process. Don't take away someone else's chance.
no, but I'm not at this. In the year that Brady goes in, whether it's next year or the year after, whatever, no one else is going in at the same time.
Yeah.
But you're missing this. He's a whole separate entity. He goes in.
I see.
But
So
you
you'd
can
say
still
you'd still do a-
you can
a
still do your
inductee
process with the other 3
in
guys,
August for
and
the
they
halftime.
can come at August, and that's no disrespect.
Yeah.
You're a great player.
Yeah. No,
if you're out there in the plaza with thousands of people
That makes
cheering
sense.
for you, that's
I
still
like doing-
still
Yeah.
special.
That
I like
makes
that.
sense.
But
Do
Tom
Brady
goes
off
in on
schedule.
on his own.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
and just a random June, like around minicamp maybe, like
I-
when everybody's
Fred and
kinda
I
here.
talked
No,
about
you
this.
have to do it when most people are available to get here.
Right, and
Yeah.
that's why I mentioned the off season. Maybe after everybody's done with that mini camp
Yeah,
portion of
early
the
June,
off season,
just getting ready to get
and
out of here.
people start to scatter. Maybe you can get, because you don't need everybody.
His birthday's in August. Just big Tom
You don't
birthday
need
party.
you don't need everybody, but you do need like Peyton Manning and
Surprise
those
guest.
kinds of people. Because I thought the best. Fred and I talked about this yesterday for a while in his office, and we both at the same time said the Larry Bird night and and of course, I don't know if you know, but Fred was there.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. Front
So
row.
what did they do for Larry Bird? I was.
Oh, it was good. They was at the Garden, but the Celtics hired
Are you
NFL.
from-
They sold
Are
tickets,
you even
right?
from here?
It's basketball, right?
Are you from here?
When was that? Like 93, something like that?
Ish.
I forget what year it was.
They had a stage set up on
Yeah,
the parquet.
So it was the whole Garden.
I wasn't even born yet, and I
you
know,
know,
so.
You
All
go
right.
away.
Well, you love the
All
basketball.
it was all full. Then they had seating on the floor right into this middle stage. The Celtics hired NFL Entertainment to put it on, and they did a great job. And they had Magic Johnson there and all his teammates.
That to me was the best part of the whole night.
Yeah.
They had a lot of his
Rivals.
ex-teammates came out, and then they brought Magic Johnson with, like the Celtics warm-ups, the overall kind of warm-up.
Yeah.
He comes out. He's got his Laker warm-ups on, but underneath he had a Celtics shirt because
Yeah.
he didn't have anything else. And Bird rips it open to show everybody. And
Yeah.
that
And
to
they-
me
and-
made the whole night.
And they had video presentations and people talking, and it was a really good night of entertainment. It wasn't boring. Like some of these things drag on. This never got boring. And all the media got like these swag bags full of like Bird stuff, which I still have. It was just it was a real memorable.
I remember
night.
I was at the Herald at the time,
Yeah.
and that we had obviously access to have people go, even if you weren't covering it, like
Yeah.
you had extra. And this girl I went to BU with, she kind of went through like the intern and the lower level that I was on at the time. She's from St. Louis, had like no interest whatsoever in Larry Bird, and she ended up. They asked her if she wanted to go. And I was so mad. She wanted to go because Bob Costas was like the MC.
Oh man.
And Bob Costas is from St. Louis. And that's why she
Larry
wanted to
Bird.
go. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I was so mad.
So
Did she go over you?
Yeah.
That's just wrong.
You didn't put up like a fight about this?
I was a lowly peon. Like, what was I
But
going
so
to do?
was she.
Yeah, but
Higher
they
peon than
asked
you.
her. What am I going to say? Why her, not me? Tanya Underhub. I'll never forget her.
Underhub?
Wonder what she's up to now.
Underhub.
The Underhills.
The Underhills tab.
Underhills, I know.
Yeah. It's to that level, if not even more.
I think it's the opponents that stand out to me. And I mean, Paul, I think nails it with you got to have Peyton Manning there. I mean, that's the rivalry, and to get him back in here, and I mean, knowing that he will do.
You bring
all
in
these kind of
Eli?
things. Yeah. Well, they probably come
they
together,
yeah,
right?
they probably
Like,
come as a package deal.
deal,
But
right?
They'll have to do
I
a
just
whole
think
bit.
of Colts,
All right.
Steelers, Ravens.
Bernard Pollard.
Come
on down.
You might want to lose Bernard Pollard's invite in the mail, but
What about the Broncos? They had,
maybe you get some Broncos, like maybe a
Champ Bailey.
a Von Miller type, or a Champ Bailey or someone like that. But you don't have to go wild with the opponents. You need 2, 3, 5 like really high profile guys to come back and have fun.
I think that's where the greatness is, though, right? I mean, like all the teammates, we've heard all these stories about what a great leader he was, what a great guy he was. He would talk to everyone in the locker room. He would work relentlessly, first guy, and all that stuff. But to hear from the actual opponents, especially defenders who, were like, what was it like preparing to go against Tom Brady? And, just knowing those answers of, like, you had to play 61 minutes.
And,
like,
and
anything less than that.
every teammate that played with him gets an invite. Now, whether they all come or not, who knows?
Yeah.
And
But
all the quarterbacks who
that'd be great.
probably would have been one of the best quarterbacks in the league had he not played during the same generation and just
Right.
grappling with that.
you bring,
Phillip Rivers,
you bring in like Light and Castle to talk about the jokes they played on each other, and NFL Films or whoever puts together some really nice video presentations that send shivers up everybody's spine. You just do it up really nice.
That's
So when do you present this to Robert and Jonathan?
I'm sure this has already been being talked about.
I'm not, Fred.
Yeah.
And I'm dead serious. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it the way we have.
Well, it just happened yesterday.
No,
so-
but I've been hearing a lot of people predicting like this will all happen in the Kansas City game next year.
Oh.
What a wasted opportunity.
Absolutely.
right. You had to
but
rush
who's
out
predicting
there.
that? People from the outside with no
Just on the Twitter machine.
Yeah.
No one in here.
no one that knows our
But I haven't really
operations
heard
and-
anybody. I've heard people talk about a statue. There's been a lot of statue talk, which I'm wholeheartedly in favor of. And I've heard a lot of talk about the number 12 being displayed inside the stadium or on the lighthouse.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard a lot of people say it needs to be something separate. I think Andy Hart and I on the 6 Rings podcast yesterday, which I said should be 7 rings because we were talking about Brady and.
Yeah.
Not for me, it's not.
Today it's
and
7.
I think this is a good time to put all the other numbers back into circulation.
I'm with you, Fred. Let's do it. I think it's more of a tribute to guys that we never saw play. That and I mean, for me to see 56 back out there, it would mean a lot to me to and to remember Andre Tippett rather than. I mean, it's not even up in the stadium, right?
Mike's the most consistent guy I've ever seen on this kind of a topic.
I appreciate that.
You are.
But I love it. I mean, I think that honors players much more and put them up in the stadium. Like you can still note who they were, these great, Patriots. But there's, some of these guys that like Bob D. I mean, all respect to him. Like, it's just
That's the ones.
they've names that have kind of
Andre
gone with
Tippett's
history.
in the Hall of Fame. Like
Yeah.
Bob D. and some of the other guys. Like Bruce Armstrong.
Yeah, I mean, the only
Like,
two that really, like, if you have to, other than Brady, would be Hannah and Tippett.
Yeah.
Even
those-
Mike Haynes, he was half a Raider.
probably more known as a Raider
Yeah.
with the championship.
I would have Mike Haynes, but there's a handful that wouldn't be up there if it were up to me.
And maybe you do some kind of ceremony for those guys,
But
for
you
those
can't,
numbers.
you can't unretire numbers. I mean, you can put them back in circulation, but they're still retired.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. But if there is one that's not in circulation, it's 12.
But do we really need to like take them out of circulation? Like, what's the? Has there been like a clamoring for someone to wear number 89?
No, but it's just like I just think that Brady, like his number shouldn't just be retired.
That's why his
with
number is displayed in the bowl.
Yeah, at least do something like that at least.
Put it with the banners. Wouldn't have any without them.
Yeah, yeah. So
Jab.
and no one and
What?
and no one gets their number up there with him
Son?
unless 30 years from now they've risen to that level.
Yeah,
You know,
and that's, I mean, and
Like, we're not
realistically,
starting a new thing. This is a Brady thing.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
End of story.
I think everybody understands that.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I think all these ideas are great, and I mean, I'm sure all the Patriots fans are excited. And I mean, I've said this before, like, all the Ticketmaster hubbub that's gone on. Like I've said before, I wish in the offseason we could do something where fans could line up and get tickets. Like, just line up, old fashioned, get hard tickets, like make it an event. But in the offseason, like have like a whole day, kind of like
that's
this.
part
I mean,
that's part of the
whole
Fred and
thing.
Paul plan.
Maybe you do that, but I think a whole Tom Brady day, and as Paul said, inside the stadium, I think would just be, so cool. Maybe even like walk around various places.
And
where
the setup is
great
like a concert here,
Yeah.
where you have all kinds of like on-field seating, and you have all the VIPs.
And maybe
down
like you put
around
up
the
little
stage.
pictures of like big plays, like the Kenrell Tompkins catch. There's like a little photo on a stand of like right here was one of these
Now,
great plays by
would
Brady.
would you be opposed
Yes.
to doing it at some other place besides Gillette Stadium?
No,
Like if you did it at Government Center, so you could have 300,000 people instead of 60,000.
oh, I thought you were going to go smaller so it would be more intimate.
I
No,
kind of love
bigger.
the idea of it being
No.
here. I don't
Then-
know.
yeah,
if
then
it just feels like
I'm with
this
Mike
is
on
where it
that.
happened.
Okay.
It's
No,
like
I-
where-
And then you have to
I'm-
deal with the city.
I'm just
and
throwing
the
that out there.
restrictions
Yeah.
of getting into the city.
if it's a big venue, then I think it needs to be here. If you wanted to do it, at the Garden, so it would be a little bit more intimate and
no way.
easily seen.
No way at the Garden.
they do it Fenway, no?
No way at the Garden. Oh, I just saw PFW Dynasty.
Yeah, I would not do it at Government Center. No one gets to see it.
If it's not here, then Canton, and I can't really.
Oh no,
Like,
he'll have his
but-
own thing at
Oh,
Canton.
that'll be a whole nother
But that's
thing.
the only place that would feel like nothing else would feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Canton just I don't think they should make an exception. He should wait until.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's
No,
different.
but for this team,
Yeah.
I mean, and to Paul's point too, like I'm just thinking back to like when they did the Edelman thing at halftime, where it just feels so rushed, and it's like the clock hits 0 at halftime, they're rolling out.
Okay, ESPN. Brady retires, and it's all Bucks logos. That's BS. It's BS.
Oh, I think they're talking about Kyle Trask though. Maybe that's
What does that have to do?
I don't know.
It's BS. Come on.
But it's about the Bucks. Mike is right.
There we go.
Seeking
Buccaneers
replacement
seeking-
after Brady's
Yeah, but it had
retirement.
Brady retires, and it had all Bucks logos. He spent 20 years here. 3 there.
So I guess I'm wrong.
It bothers me.
I guess
still-
this is something that really
We
is on
want
the
him
minds
back.
of people. He needs to retire a Patriot.
We're taking him back. Taking them all back.
Well, that's what it is. We want to claim him as ours.
Yes.
He is.
Not according to ESPN.
Why do you care what they do all of a sudden? You've hated
Because
them for
millions
20
of
years.
people watch this.
For 20 years, you've called them the Antichrist. Now you care that they have a logo up there.
Well, I don't like the Antichrist. You know?
Some nerds putting up a Chiron. He's driving Fred crazy.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me, like the things that you find disrespect in.
I find that's just stupid.
Oh, sorry.
How?
Now we're getting to a high-level intellectual
It's just
conversation. It's stupid.
I find it ridiculous.
Now, I wasn't here. Were you offended by his retirement announcement last year?
I wasn't.
No, I wasn't, because that was the team he was leaving, and I felt like, later on there'll be other things, and I wasn't.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah.
It still hasn't been.
I know. I wasn't.
But it didn't bother me.
Because I think in his mind when he did that, he knew he was going to keep playing. I don't know. I think that was all BS.
Well, who was saying yesterday they thought like it felt like he just played this year out of spite because Adam Schefter like scooped his first retirement, so he's like he just played one more year because he was mad about that.
I don't know, but no, I wasn't that offended last year when he did that, and
He's done enough for me.
yeah.
I wasn't offended
No,
at all.
I think one of your guys last night on the radio had a good word to sum up how he was feeling, and I share it. Gratitude.
Yeah.
I feel a great deal of gratitude what he did for this franchise. It made your job better as a person working here,
I mean,
so I feel gratitude toward it. I always will.
I mean, I know you guys didn't need
It was
any.
McCarthy,
Matt McCarthy.
Matt McCarthy. I want to give him credit.
Any faux outrage?
No. I mean, I know
No,
you guys.
he made the whole show about Brady. I give him credit.
Yeah. I mean, you guys don't really. You have the perspective on this, but even just for me, having gone through these last few seasons and just how special it is now through the prism of what they've had to go through the last few years, and just how hard it is to consistently too. I mean, you see the other teams in the league. I mean, Kansas City, they've been able to do it, but you just see how hard it is to consistently compete for championships and be in the AFC and conference championship games and, winning the division over and over and over again. It's just it just gets more special as you get farther in the rearview mirror of what they did and how unprecedented it was.
I was listening to you and Big Head on his podcast yesterday.
Do you listen to our podcast?
Well, it came across, and so I clicked on it. I listened to maybe the first.
I didn't think anybody ever did that.
First 10 or so minutes, and both
I'm
of them.
dead serious.
Just a random jump in.
Well, he's not doing it for nothing, I hope.
No, but I mean, never mind.
But I think both of you agree that there'll never be anyone that reaches his level of achievement in terms of winning Super Bowls.
Probably not.
Yeah, I think Mahomes has a chance, but he's got to start now. Like, every year he doesn't win it.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that, I'm not a big fan of there'll never be another one, because we say it all the time, and then another one comes along.
That's right.
No one ever thought there'd be another Michael Jordan.
Right.
And I don't like LeBron James, but there's another Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't like
Chill
him.
out.
I'll take Jordan over LeBron, but
Yep.
I mean, facts are facts. So
Every sport.
and I think the way that sports is headed, I think, is a trend of you're going to see more and more guys play longer into their careers the way Brady did. Now, maybe they won't do it till 45. Maybe Mahomes won't be able to do that. I think Mahomes can rival all of the numbers when he's done.
Oh, yeah.
But I probably would say he's probably not going to win 7 titles.
Except for the Super Bowls, right?
I think he could.
Yeah.
But he's probably not going to, because Andy Reid's a lot older when this is starting. And he's going to have to do it with different guys. And that's going to be harder to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's just some of the best Patriots teams, that 07, didn't win the Super Bowl, and then to have that second act where you went 10 years without one. I mean, how many guys are going to go 10 years between titles? I mean, that alone is just, it speaks to the longevity, but also just the ability to rebuild the team and make another, championship team around him, that's another.
I think there's a better chance of the Chiefs being in contention for 20 years than there is for them winning 7 titles.
Yeah. One thing they were doing on the radio was picking Brady's best games ever.
Ooh, I like
and one that kind of got left off, that I know they lost the Super Bowl, but that Philly,
The Eagles game?
I mean, how can you not put that up there, at least for him?
Didn't he have 600 yards or something?
Yeah, it was over 500. For him, that was one of his best games ever. And had they won it, it definitely would have been up there, But they didn't win it, so he gets sacked at the end and loses the ball, and that tainted the whole thing. But that was an amazing performance.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's so hard to think, because there were so many games where he just, I think of 09 in Tennessee, where it was just lights out and they blew doors off. Does that count as one of his best games, or is it a game like one of the Super Bowls where maybe he didn't play great, but when it came down to the end, he was absolutely dead on? Does
like
that
the
count?
Carolina one where they won. He threw a pick in the end zone in that game, but he was lights out when it had to be.
I would put your game against the Eagles ahead of that Tennessee game.
Yeah.
When the other team is capitulating.
Especially when you got
the
no
Eagles
defense,
game
you
is
had
back
no
and
choice
forth. You can't
in a Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's haymaker after haymaker, and they're just trading punches, and he was great.
That
in
was like
game.
Bird and
Dominique
Wilkins in that game.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe Seattle, the Seattle Super Bowl.
Seattle Super Bowl is amazing.
Yeah.
The fourth quarter is amazing. Eight for 8, I think, on the game-winning drive, something
Now,
like that.
McCarthy had that as his number one. He said that was his Mona Lisa. That was his,
You're a big Matt McCarthy fan. I'm going to let him know.
It was just
He's
last night. So it's
he's
top,
a nice kid.
Top of mind. Like
They're
you
all
said,
kids to me, Alex.
they
You're a
had
kid, too.
lost 2 Super Bowls in a row. If you lose that one, it's 3 in a row that you've lost. You had to come back from 10.
Yeah.
And he said that was, in his mind, his best game.
The 18 AFC Championship, KC. I mean, you guys.
Oh, that was a
game
great
for
one
you
too.
guys were always.
That was a great one too.
Which was, again, to Paul's point, a game haymaker. You
Had to have it. It's not
Now-
the other team playing like crap, so you found a way to win. It's like both teams just trading blows.
Now, again, the whole game is out of my memory, but coming back from 24 against Denver that night, I have no recollection
2013,
of what Brady did in that game, but I imagine he had a good game that one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you categorize Super Bowl 51?
Right.
With it plays terrible.
Which one is that?
Atlanta, 28-3.
Right.
But then lights out, had to have it.
Yep.
At the end. I mean, he threw a pick
six
I mean, he's
in that
got
game.
every kind of
Yeah.
game you can imagine. There's, probably I game where he played terrible the whole game until the last drive and they won somehow. Like, Cleveland 2013 where somehow they pulled out with like an onside kick. And, I mean, there's just so many games.
I know.
So many good games.
Yep.
And moments, throws.
Yep. But, to pick one that's the greatest, it's hard. Yeah.
Touchdown? Greatest touchdown?
I
think he picked the Moss one. The record-breaking Moss one was one of his favorites.
That was a
they
great.
Talked to him about.
It was like they were going toe-to-toe with the Giants. It was a high-scoring game, and
on all 4 networks.
Yeah, and Moss just beats this guy down the sideline. Brady hits him perfectly, and it's a record for both guys. It was a record-setting.
You're talking about like the caliber of pass.
Sure.
Like no, I mean like physically.
I know
like,
that's
because the way Fred just described that Giants one to Moss, like it was an amazingly important touchdown, for all the reasons Fred just said. But if we're just talking about like from a skill perspective, from that point of view, there's a couple that like the one
fell.
I think. Yeah, the one against Baltimore to LaFell is as perfect a throw as you'll ever see.
Or what's the one
How'd
against?
you know I was going to say that?
What's the one
Am I
against?
that predictable?
Who did they hit against the Saints here?
I don't like when he's inside my head.
Campbell Tompkins.
You just know each other too well.
That's another one.
Yeah.
Which when they were asking Brady, I thought they asked him about these throws, and he was like, that one was more bad coverage. I thought it was interesting. Like he loved the Moss one. He talked about the LaFell one.
Like the Moss one was like a pitch and catch.
Yeah.
He was wide open.
Yeah, but that one was I know. But again, like if you did a Brady thing, it'd be cool to have like little places around the field where
this is where this happened.
This is where this
Yeah.
happened.
Give you another one.
This is where this happened.
Monday night at Denver, I want to say 0-3, the Lonnie Paxton safety game.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That touchdown to Givens with like 20 seconds left.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Yep.
What about worst game? I mean, we're having fun here, but I mean,
worst game?
He's had a few. I mean, 31-0 against the Bills.
He was bad in that game.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was really bad.
Some of the
in that
starts
game.
in the Super Bowl, like 46, where he took like the safety, and there were just a couple times where you're like, why? Why can't we get off to a good start in the Super Bowl?
Well, even that 15, I think it was 15 against Denver, where Gronk almost willed the game.
Yeah.
Brady was having a terrible. I mean, he was getting
smoked.
killed.
Yeah.
It wasn't all his fault, but he was getting killed. He was having a terrible game. He had really no one to throw to. Denver was teeing off on him. It was just a frustrating game.
I mean, maybe 09 against the Ravens, but I can't really think of a game where he didn't give you a chance to win. Where like no matter what the game was, he kind of made a push. Even in that Ravens game, like I mean, they started to put a couple.
You mentioned the Kansas City game, right?
Yeah, 18.
They're not good anymore.
Yeah.
No,
the 14
not 18.
one. The 14 one.
Yeah, I mean, he had a terrible game.
Yeah,
that game.
that's a good one.
When I'm thinking of the big game, he had some three pick games in the playoffs that just completely took away any chance they had. I mean, the Denver one in 05, the Champ Bailey interception, that's a terrible play by Tom. That pick by Champ Bailey.
Yeah.
He was off in that one.
But
I know this is why
very
it's funny.
few and
It's
far
funny to
between.
talk about because you're like good games. You're like this one. And you're like bad games.
Well, even the greatest, can't be perfect. It just shows it's tough.
No.
But the fact that he was so good for so many times, that's what separates him. He's just
wicked good.
Yeah,
Wicked
it's
good
good,
He's wicked handsome too.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah.
That's the thing. It's like I think Mina Kimes made this point, but just to play as long as he did and have no one have any like bad interpersonal things to say about you.
I mean, he's done a good job. I mean, there's probably some people that can.
I was going to say that's one of those that. Good luck if you want to say something bad about Tom Brady.
I don't know about that one.
Right. Like,
No,
you'd
but
have
he-
to be an idiot to publicly say something bad against Brady.
But he did do a good job managing his image
Well
and
put.
staying
Yeah.
out of trouble. Even when it came to the contracts, it was always done behind closed doors. It never became a public tug of war like some of these players, holding out and all that stuff. Some would argue maybe he should have, but he never did. And yeah, I mean, so it was always positive with him.
Where do you think he sets up shop now? Like, I mean, he seems like he's California, New York, Boston, Florida. I mean, he's
Yeah.
all over the place.
I think he's going to
obviously
be. He's going to
Yeah.
spend most of the time where his kids are.
yeah, East Coast.
Yeah,
They
I think
restarted construction on their Miami mansion.
I thought Miami.
there. What do you
Alex,
mean there?
Reporting in from the bushes in Florida.
That big celebrity island in Miami where him and Giselle were building the house, they stopped construction temporarily. I don't know if that had to do with more of the divorce or the FTX crash or whatever it was, but construction has resumed.
Okay.
Obviously,
But whose house is it going to be? That's the question.
I'd imagine his.
Jiu-jitsu.
His?
trainer.
You think so?
Well, she bought a house across the street, apparently.
Yeah, but I heard it was
And
like
her-
a really modest house.
It was, and it was like oddly in her sister's name, so people think it was kind of like a publicity stunt to buy the house. But I don't know.
Yeah.
He was looking for schools for his kids in Miami last week, the week before.
Yeah, he was looking.
Video leaked of that. So
I saw that. Yeah.
Who knows?
it's a fun time down there.
Yeah, it's, people get divorced, but when you're both celebrities like that, it's.
I know. I got to admit, just her message, it just made me sad. I don't really care for him and this relationship, but just like, to be married to somebody and then all of a sudden they're just like giving you like this very basic congratulations and best of luck in the future on your Instagram. I don't know. It's just,
whatever it is you choose to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I have
Best
no
of luck,
idea what
your
it is
future
because you never
endeavors.
tell me anything.
I know. Best of luck in your future endeavors. It's like, oh, that's a bummer. I mean, they used to be like,
Don't
I
worry,
mean,
Mike. It's just
a
their
celebrity
publicists.
couple. I could give
it's
a
just
crap.
their
but
publicists and social managers.
All right, I can smell the buffalo sauce from
the
here.
buffalo.
So it's time to take a break. When we come back, we'll get to your calls and emails here on Patriots Unfiltered.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G Ultra Wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G Ultra Wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
There's no season better than football season, and there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week, so head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible!
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix eSports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G ultra wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G ultra wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible.
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
And now, great moments in history.
Back in the day when Eric was still a meat eater,
right?
We went to Arthur's and he wanted to get a steak well done, and I objected.
He did.
Right.
I objected.
He voiced an opposition.
And that's ridiculous.
Yes.
Told the server, said, "Don't you dare.
Yeah.
Don't you dare bring him a cooked steak."
About 5 minutes later.
He doesn't need a good cut, is what I'm saying. You don't need to waste the money on someone who's going to have it well done.
Just give him a hoof. It's a waste of money because you don't like it cooked that
it'll
way.
taste the same, is what I'm saying. He won't even know the difference.
Of course you know the difference between cuts of meat.
Not when you do it well done. Not when you cook it well done.
Just give him a hoof.
It loses all its flavor.
The wing.
It loses all its flavor. All you taste is the charbroil.
It's a sin, Ma.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here in Patriots Unfiltered. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. Paul's still eating.
There he is.
Smells good.
Doing what he does best.
Yeah. Get the buffalo. Those aren't wings, though.
No, just
Buffalo
tenders.
tenders.
That's
Yeah.
my jam. That's my jam.
In my world, if they don't have a bone in
I
it,
know.
they're not wings. They're tenders or fingers or whatever you want to call them, but they're not truly buffalo wings.
That's the correct take.
Wendell's yet? You haven't gone down to Wendell's?
I've been. No, I haven't been to Wendell's in
Yeah.
Norton, Mass.
Yeah, they keep talking.
I haven't been there, but gotta go.
Yeah, you are correct with your characterization, and also they're not as good. But when you know,
It's really
stuff
hard
in your
to
fat
have-
face and a bit of a break, you don't really want to go with the wings and get.
That's
it
the
all
thing.
over.
Bone-in is just so messy.
They're
You
so
have to.
They're
It's a
messy, but
commitment.
They're so much better.
But
though.
the fat and the skin gives
Mhm.
it the flavor. Yeah. You know.
I like the tenders.
Do you like?
What are you, 10?
Do you like
I
your
am.
wings breaded? Ever? You know, breaded. Like Hooters does it breaded.
No.
No.
No, I like just some nice spices on there, like some fancy ones. I mean, I'll
You
do
got a
the-
rub?
little
Dry
rub.
rub?
Do you
A
like
rub,
Do you
a
like
dry
them
rub.
crispy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like crispy. Yeah. Like crispy wings.
This makes me want to go to the Hangar or Wings Over.
The Hangar? Where's that?
The Hangar is the OG is in Amherst, but do you know the Wings Over franchise?
No.
No.
Wow, you guys have never ate at Wings
We've
Over.
never been
or
to
the
central
Hangar?
to western Massachusetts.
There's
Oh, I have.
Wings Overs in Boston
No one goes
and
there.
everywhere.
Is it like Buffalo
Wings
Wild Wings?
Over?
All right, callers, I need your help.
Now,
Maddie's
okay.
shaking his head.
So
Thank
wings,
you.
wings over. Is it? It's a chain.
Wings Over is the takeout franchise that evolved from the Hangar, which originally was just like a wings restaurant in Amherst. Now there's a couple of them. They combined with Amherst Brewing, but they're everywhere. Like they're in Pennsylvania, they're in Illinois.
Is it like Wings
But-
Over the location name or just Wings Over?
Yeah,
is
so
what
like
it's
there's a Wings Over Boston, Wings
Yeah.
Over Somerville, Wings Over. I'm surprised there's
Wherever.
none down here.
called? No.
Yeah.
What are they comparable to?
Is it like Wild Wings? Buffalo Wild
Better.
Wings? Better.
Better. Like especially their boneless ones are going to be a little bigger.
Let's
They have the
go.
best boneless wings.
All right. Now we're
Not
Bone-in,
wings.
bone-in are good, very good, but their boneless wings are elite.
Not.
I like the honey barbecue. That's my. I like that flavor.
That's for babies.
I'm a garlic parmesan girl.
Honey
Like
barbecue.
a really hot buffalo.
Honey barbecue is excellent.
For babies.
There's no bad
Get
wing
buffalo
sauce.
like a man. Well, buffalo are good.
Oh yeah.
No
I'm
question.
not gonna.
But honey barbecue, spicy barbecue, good.
My son has been
Spicy
putting
hot garlic.
She's been putting the buffalo spice sauce on everything that he eats now.
He puts that bleep on everything.
But exactly, and I was trying to explain to Lane. I'm like, they make buffalo wings. You just toss in that stuff. And no, that's too spicy. I'm like, trust me. So last night I got him just to like take a piece of fried chicken, toss it in the buffalo sauce, and then a little bit of ranch. So we're crossing boundaries. I don't know if I'll get him to try the bone ones though. That's 10-year-old little bridge
I
too far.
object to the ranch. I don't like that.
No, blue cheese.
What do you
Gotta be
do? You
blue
like?
cheese.
I prefer blue cheese too, Fred, but we didn't have any, and so I went with the. I
Although
was trying
some
to pick
people swear by sour cream.
On wings?
On wings.
I mean,
I've never even heard
I've
that.
never had it, and people say don't knock it until you try it.
I wouldn't kick sour
Now-
cream out of anything. So.
I was a waitress at a wings restaurant for a very long time, all through college. I've never served anyone with sour cream.
No, it's I don't know if it's a southern thing, but people said don't knock it until you try with sour cream. I just don't think it has enough flavor.
Oh,
you know?
I like my wife.
I guess
likes,
it's the cooling property, though.
Yeah, I don't want it. I want the blue cheese on it.
My wife likes sour cream so much that if we're doing taco night and we're like, we have everything else, avocado,
No
salsa,
sour cream.
cheese,
You have to
no
make a
sour
run?
cream. No, she'll go. But that's how she's like, oh, we don't have sour cream. Like, that's how much. So maybe we'll try that.
Well, so she won't even sub it for like a Greek yogurt.
Hell no. And we have Greek yogurt too. Not even close. Like, we don't have sour cream. It's like a non-starter for us.
Good for
Ever
her.
tried on a hot dog, Paul?
So,
All right.
You guys that you have the blue cheese or the ranch on the wings. I'm not a, I
There's
don't.
no or, but anyway.
Well,
go
okay,
ahead.
so you have like blue cheese on
Yeah.
your wings.
Yeah.
Do you need that like for taste, or like because I don't do either one.
Yeah, I just love the combination.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. The blue cheese.
Yeah.
Especially if you have like hot buffalo wings, you need like a little blue cheese to just take some of the edge off.
I don't
and
want
cool
the
it
edge
down.
off. That's what I like
Do you ever
about
eat
it.
You
the
wanna
carrots
sweat.
or the
Yeah.
carrots? You have the carrots or the celery? Everything
Yeah,
into that?
and
little blue cheese on
you
that.
dunk it. No. You dunk it in the sauce.
Yeah, I do that too. Only when I'm still
sauce.
hungry after I finish my
Sauce.
wings.
Right.
Not
That's
to be
like,
confused
and
with
now I'll
gravy.
have my vegetables.
The celery just fills in the cracks.
What? It's a balanced
Celery.
meal.
Oh, what a waste, celery.
It's
I mean, like
six-
the carrot at least has some taste.
Yeah,
Like
celery
six
is
fried
it's just
pieces
like
of
it's
chicken
water
and-
and fiber.
and
It's
two
terrible.
carrot sticks. I had 2 carrot sticks. I mean, that's when you're talking about like
It's like
a
tastes like
6-year-old.
you're eating raw twine.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get to some of these emails because people want to weigh in on the GOAT. Tony writes in, he says, just a little bit of melancholy. My first year as a Patriots fan was when Joe Kapp was the quarterback.
Oh.
Saw a lot of bad football over the years.
So you and Fred were probably tailgating.
Yeah. As a child, wondered whether the Patriots would ever become Nick Buoniconti and the Finns. At times, the Patriots were good, but something always seemed to happen, whether it was Sugar Bear Hamilton being called for roughing the passer against the Raiders or the tragedy of Darryl Stingley. Parcells brought hope, but still the Patriots were never just good enough. Then the football gods graced us with the football messiah himself, and we had the most wonderful 20 years any football fandom could imagine. I will miss watching Tom Brady, but will forever be grateful for both the sheer joy his play gave me on all those Sundays and for the opportunity to watch the greatest quarterback of all time play for my team.
Amen.
Very well said.
The Messiah.
Very well said.
Yep.
Good job.
Let's see. I want to stick on the Tom Brady theme. Mark writes in.
So you're ignoring all the other ones.
Well,
huh?
for now,
Okay.
I just want to stick on a
Got the
subject.
Senior Bowls going on.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Mark in Fall River says, with Tom's retirement, it got me thinking about a debate question. In your opinion, what is the most important game of Tom Brady's career? Some options: Super Bowl 36, final game of 07, the regular season, Super Bowl 42, 49, 51, 2018 AFC Championship duel with Mahomes, or Super Bowl 55, beating Mahomes and winning with another team at age 43.
Most important? That was.
Yeah.
I think I know what Paul's going to say.
Most
but
important is tough.
I was going to say maybe that San Diego game in his first season as a starter where
Oh.
you didn't really know how
Oh.
things were going. I mean, most important. I mean, it's hard to say the end of his career was most important. I think that moment was a little bit of an
You can make an
inflection
argument
point.
for 36.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Also, like that same season, what was the game that in Bill Belichick's mind he said, "Okay, he's my starter"? Because that would have been an
I think
important
maybe
game.
that San Diego
Was that the San
overtime
Diego
game?
I would have
mean,
said
that
New
was-
Orleans.
Yeah.
That was
that coming off the Miami loss?
It was coming off the Bledsoe was healthy and started practicing. They lost to the Rams, I want to say, in that area, and all of a sudden Bledsoe wasn't going to get any more reps because, quote, Tom Brady's the quarterback for the foreseeable future, and then he went out and lit it up against the Saints after that.
Yeah.
I think 36 because to me it's either 36 or whatever the Seattle one was. What's the number of the Seattle one?
49.
49.
Yeah.
Those would be my two options.
Yeah, because like McCarthy was saying last night, they had lost 2 in a row. They just signed Garoppolo, and a lot of people, even at that time, were saying, well, is he getting up there in age? And then he goes and wins that one.
Well,
and then
two things.
Yeah.
That I would say 36. Like if you look at the way it was sort of trending, They didn't score a lot of points in 36. That was the one out of all of them that you could say he was a caretaker. You know, he was clutch when he had to be, and they wouldn't have won it if just some regular dude was out playing quarterback because he had to be really clutch. He gets knocked out of the AFC Championship game in the first half, didn't finish it, and then really didn't do a whole lot in the Super Bowl. He only threw for 120 yards in the Super Bowl as it was.
One touchdown.
But that drive at the end of the game, to me,
showed the
solidified
ice in his
it.
veins.
Solidified it, and that,
Yep.
you know, I don't think anybody, even Bledsoe honks like me, didn't have any reservations whatsoever going forward. So that one and the Seattle one to me is because I think the whole 10-year thing that Mike talked about before the break, you know, the 10-year gap between success. And then when you look at the first three, a lot of people say, I think incorrectly, but a lot of people say the first three were about defense and Belichick. The last three were about Brady.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily buy that because I think 03 and 04 were a lot to do with Brady. But there would have been an argument to be made that, like, he can't win it when he's the focal point. You know, like when he was setting all the records in 07, they fell short.
Yeah.
You know, when he had no defense in 11, they fell short.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then all of a sudden they get to the Super Bowl against Seattle, one of the more legendary defenses, you know, in recent times, even though it was decimated at the time by injuries. He just went up and down the field twice in the fourth quarter and came from behind. I think that one cemented the legacy. The first, I would have to say the first one is the most important.
Because think about how it would have been if they had lost 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah.
You know, now they're...
But like I said, all in the same kind of pattern, all offense, not as much defense.
Yeah.
You can't win that way.
Right.
You're just like Peyton Manning. You can't do it all. You can be great like Peyton Manning, but you can't win it all on your own.
Yep.
For me, I feel like for similar reasons, it was the Atlanta one because I feel like watching that comeback, it just became to a point where I'm like, I'm no longer going to argue with anyone that Tom Brady's not the greatest Super Bowl of all time based on what I just watched. It's now inarguable.
You're just going to slap this game down. You're just
right.
going to talk to the hand. Super Bowl 51.
But I think it took that comeback for a lot of people to come to grips with that.
Yep. Jack in Ann Arbor agrees with me that the ESPN coverage is BS. Todd.
Good job, Jack.
Todd writes in, I'm with Paul. No need for a one-day contract for Brady, and then they can say he retired as a Patriot. It's useless. If they wanted this, they should have talked to him 2 days ago and had him sign on January 31st and then retire on February 1st, as he did. Well, I don't know. I don't care about the timing. And Florio wrote something. There, even with these stupid, one-day contracts, there is something you have to take into account: the league year and the actual retirement from the league and all that stuff, and his status with the Bucks and money. It shouldn't. It should be like completely phony.
Yeah,
it shouldn't have.
But
to,
it actually
because
doesn't have to have some
he's not technically a free agent until March. Right.
That's funny. Can't do our ceremonial thing. You're
Joey
screwing us
says,
up.
am I watching Patriots Unfiltered or the Golden Girls arguing? Just kidding. You guys are the best.
Hey, I don't know. Was
Earlier
that
we were
us being old?
arguing.
I'm a big Golden Girls fan. I'm here for it.
Love Blanche.
Ron in Cambridge says Brady never wanted to be Tampa Tom. He wanted to stay in the Patriots, and some of their fans, including you, thought they'd be all good without him. There are a segment of fans who will always hold it against them for that. He is the type of athlete that you ride it out with no matter what. Things have stunk since he left.
Oh.
There's no doubt about that.
I think you're letting Brady off the hook a little bit for leaving. I think if he really wanted to stay, he would have stayed.
I think if they paid him, he would have.
I agree. I think both sides were
Neil
responsible.
from New Brunswick. Tom Brady, thank you. You gave us all so many memories. I'd love the one-day contract, but if it never happens, it doesn't change the way I feel about you. Now go enjoy your life. You've given Patriots Nation in Tampa enough. Has anyone ever noticed that Mike is always dipping his toe in the draft? I just find it so funny. I feel like the day before the draft shows, he'll be ankle deep. This is not meant as a criticism, just another funny PU quirk that makes me laugh every time. I know, and then he talks about the draft. I don't care about that right now, Neil. We'll get into the draft.
It's funny as I haven't. I like it. I mean, I just don't follow college football till this all starts. And we've got Karen Grigi, and regarding Gerard Mayo, I'm hearing from a source we should pump the brakes on him having a new title going forward. A pay raise for sure, and his overall role could change, but there might not be a different title. That's Karen Garigian from the Boston Herald.
The old bait and switch.
So the assistant linebacker, whatever his title was before, is
inside
sitting in on
linebackers.
offensive coordinator, and his title isn't changing? Or his role isn't changing?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's a good point, Fred.
What are we?
And we're not going to hear about money. So I mean, in theory,
I'm
nothing has
assuming
really
he's
changed,
making
right?
more money,
right?
you
But,
know.
but you'll never get an actual number on any of that. So I mean, for all intents and purposes,
Well done, right there. Andy.
I mean, how are you going to know anything's different this year with him unless if he's still the inside linebackers coach?
I hope we're past that. The
I
whole
know,
subterfuge
right,
and all that.
right? Yeah.
Mike in Lunenburg, there is no doubt in my mind that the Crafts want Brady night to be during the season. This year there are 9 home regular season games and 1 preseason game, and as we know, they're giving up 1 home game for the Germany game, so the season ticket member package is now only 9 games. I could easily see them issuing a bonus ticket for Tom Brady night in the stadium to keep the season ticket member pricing in line with where it should be, despite there being 1 less game to charge us for. Now, whether the timing works for us out for this, who knows, but my mind always goes to the business money aspect. Can't blame you for doing that. Certainly the owners do. But even if they do this not during the season, you could still say if you're a season ticket member, you get first dibs to go.
That's a good idea.
You know?
Especially with the Germany game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a non-factor.
It's a
to be
fair
honest.
point. It's a fair point.
It's accurate. What he
Yeah.
said is true. I just don't think it's part of the thought process.
Yeah.
Is that like an issue though? Like losing a game to go to Germany for the season ticket holders? Is that? I mean, is that a thing?
We'll
that
see.
you know,
They're
you
not
need
thrilled
to-
about it.
Yeah.
Based on,
But-
I read some of the mentions when we made the Germany announcement, and a very small percentage were like, "Great, so I'm a season ticket holder." And
Well, they're
it's
getting
one
a
less
10%
game.
discount.
I was gonna say, don't you?
Yeah.
You pay per game. Like that's your season tickets. You pay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they are.
So you're not. That's not a game. Like you're not paying for it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
Maybe.
people will just complain about anything they have a chance to complain about.
Well, I mean, who am I to argue with that?
Tim writes in, being a lifelong Patriots fan with one of my earliest memories opening up the original Schaefer Stadium, my perspective is as long as we have a great ceremony with a statue with its own event and retirement of number 12 will be great. I don't see the need for Tom Brady to be part of the organization going forward. I don't even care if he signs a one-day contract. I hope that it can be done around the opening of the new lighthouse, and yes, have a lot of people throughout his career to speak and share memories. I absolutely love the Catch-22 show with Evan and Alex. Where does that have? It has become my second favorite podcast, only behind the world's original podcast. P.S. Adam Jones is another sports personality that is out on Mac Jones. Well, we know that. He's out on everybody.
And he went from strongly in on Mac Jones to out on Mac Jones.
What did it?
I don't know. 14
The win-
touchdowns, 11 picks.
Oh. That? The wind changed direction.
L from Wisconsin, I'm curious as to your thoughts about something. Brady is the greatest of all time. To me, the second best during his tenure was Peyton Manning. Similarly to Bill and Andy Reid, who do you think has the bigger gap? To Bill and Andy Reid, who has the bigger gap? So is there a bigger gap between Brady and Manning or Bill and Reid? In my opinion, Brady is significantly better than Peyton, which is someone who watched a lot of old Colts game is insane to think about. Meanwhile, I think Bill sits slightly below Reid.
This is really territory I could care less about. It's hard enough trying to do Brady and Belichick. Now I got to do Brady and Belichick versus Reid and Mahomes. I don't know. I think Manning and Brady is really close. I think Brady and Manning is really close. I mean, I think Peyton Manning was supremely talented, and injuries did him in. What would it have looked like if Peyton Manning hadn't gotten hurt? Might he be even closer? But I don't think it's that big of a gap. I don't know. It's hard to say with Bill because a lot of like what comes from him is like what he did, as a coordinator and his, like he's just got, I don't know, more kind of touch points to point to of like, well, he did this. And I mean, Andy Reid has just been an excellent head coach with 2 different franchises and, has his team in contention pretty much every year. I can't, I don't know what to say about what the gap is between them, but I think Bill just has more titles, but they're both excellent coaches.
Is there a decent coach who wouldn't be in contention every year with either Mahomes or Brady?
How about Alex Smith or Donovan McNabb?
I'm not talking. I said with those two. Like,
No, I think you'd have to be a really, really bad coach
Right.
to not contend with Brady or Mahomes.
Right.
But Andy Reid contended with really bad to
Oh, yeah.
mediocre quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like Alex Smith is mediocre. McNabb is bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Belichick got in the playoffs with Testaverde.
Much better than Donovan McNabb.
Really?
Was he that bad?
Really?
Terrible.
Oh, come on, Paul.
Terrible.
I mean, I remember him puking at the end of the Super Bowl, but I felt like he was.
What happened
okay.
to Donovan McNabb when he no longer had Andy Reid?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he's older then. Yami writes in 80 for Brady, they have some local room scenes with multiple Patriots players. Do you know if those scenes were shot at Gillette Stadium? Were you
That
guys
spring chicken Tom Brady went on to win a Super Bowl without Belichick. But
Were you guys even
McNabb was old when he left Andy Reid.
Well, not everybody ages like Brady. You can't compare him to other people. Were you guys aware the
He's a
movie
running quarterback.
80
Takes
for
more
Brady
damage.
was being made?
No.
Yeah. Were we aware of
No.
the? Oh, I mean,
No, that
like in
was-
the stadium?
No.
I knew
No, it was
about the movie
The
just
Whitney
from
Houston movie was shooting here, but not the.
I didn't know that they were making this movie until it was out.
Oh
80
no,
for
they
Brady?
they talked about
There
it
was
at the
some
time.
Production
Yeah.
pictures got
Yeah.
leaked
Right.
of them
Of
all.
them
in
all
their
on Super Bowl
uniforms,
51.
Yeah.
It's Brady's company. They were promoting it for a long time.
I don't remember.
I'm just.
But I don't
surprised-
remember them being here shooting
No, I think
anything.
they shot it in
No.
Hollywood. I think it's all.
Yeah,
Mike would
it's
probably know better. It's
Why
probably
would
all
not here?
sets
going,
in Culver
they're
City.
going to the Super Bowl. They're not coming here. They're going to the Atlanta game, right?
Well,
No.
did you see it, Alex? Hasn't it already been shown?
I have not seen
for
it.
famous people like you.
I've been really holding out for a good new movie to go see at the movies, and there have
And
not
that,
been
and,
any.
and that ain't it.
I just don't
No.
get who the audience is for that movie. Like, what? It's just a strange kind of
I do.
mix between old people and sports fans. Like, that's your kind of
Yeah.
cross section of who you're trying to get: football fans and old people. It's
Middle
not.
middle-aged and older women. I
Yeah.
think is the
I mean,
audience.
knowing how hard it
Maybe.
is to get anything made in LA, like I mean, it's Tom Brady and the cast, and
Yeah,
that's why
I don't
they made
think
it. There's
I-
no
I don't
like,
think
it's
I'm sure a lot of
Hollywood has
sports
anything to
writers
do
will
with
watch
this.
it.
just him
yeah.
like. Here's
Oh,
some more
really?
money.
You think sports writers would go and watch
Just
this?
for any little thing they can tweet out that Brady does in it.
Oh, but not because they
they're
want to see
interested,
it.
Right.
Okay, it's like as work.
As work.
Yeah.
Research.
Yeah. Okay.
Cody.
Are you going to see it, Fred?
No. If
Matt?
if it's on TV someday, I might
Laughing
watch
at
it.
you calling it
I'm not-
research. They're going for pleasure.
You know,
But you think like a sports writer would want to see that movie?
Absolutely. We're talking about the same people that would rub lotion on players' backs.
Another great point. This is why I
he was
need Matt
intimidated
Morrell in my
into doing
corner
that.
at all times.
Yeah,
You know,
I
can
can't argue.
I can't either.
Can I make a quick point though? You know, Paul, thinking back at your Andy Reid thing though, like, I mean, he's an offensive coach though. You know, so is it fair to say, oh, he's such a better coach because he did better?
I
with
didn't say
quarterbacks
he's a
when he
better
was-
coach.
Well, you said Andy Reid had like how did I mean, you're implying that he was.
No.
I'm just saying.
But I think Belichick is a great coach too.
But I'm
we-
saying if you're talking about the
we would-
quarterbacks,
we
that's
would-
an offensive coach, and you're saying, well, Bill can't coach a quarterback, but he's not. I mean, technically, he's not.
I didn't say Bill can't coach anything first. But the second thing is I was responding to Fred claiming that anybody could win with Patrick Mahomes, which I would agree with. If you're a reasonably good coach, anybody would win. I don't think that's Andy Reid's resume.
But
Andy Reid's resume is winning with whatever he has.
Right, but I mean, he's an offensive coach, so we're talking about
But-
quarterbacks.
but
so
is-
you're,
you
you're
just-
holding up his
do
quarterbacks.
you just win with offense?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, right? Like,
I mean, I think he's also smart enough to know.
Brian Dawkins was pretty good.
Exactly. I'm smart enough to know I'm going to get Jimmy Johnson to coach my defense. I'm going to get Steve Spagnuolo to coach my defense. That's being smart. That's not saying he's not in my inner sanctum. I don't want him. Like, that's part of the struggles right now without Brady. Maybe it wouldn't be as big of a struggle if they had an offensive coordinator. Maybe it'll be better this year with Bill O'Brien back and you have an actual offensive coordinator.
but is
right?
But is it safe to say that Andy Reid and Bill Belichick, without a generational quarterback, are somewhat more reliant on the other side of the ball? Like, why didn't Kansas City win more when they had those quarters? Like, why didn't they why didn't they go to a Super Bowl? Because
with who?
With Alex Smith or
Because he
with-
wasn't good enough. He's not that good. They maximum. I mean, they were going 12-4 with Alex Smith, and they were going in the playoffs, and they were winning some playoff games, but they weren't a Super Bowl team with Alex Smith at the helm.
But how is their defense?
Meh.
So, and the Patriots' offense has been meh. Sorry, I just
The
see
Patriots'
similarities.
offense wasn't meh last year.
I see similarities between the two coaches. When like Andy Reid's a quarterback, he's an offensive
Right.
coach. He's had better
Okay,
offensive performance.
so I like
but
the
I've
way you
also
just
seen
said that.
Belichick
Do you
has
think
had-
Patriots fans think this is this?
No, I don't. I'm
comparison?
not going to get into like what Patriot fans think. I'm saying what
'Cause
I
you're certainly
think.
not one.
But
Nice call, Fred. That was a great
All right,
call.
You just leave now.
I mean, you don't like Brady. I mean, what are we doing?
But I'm just trying to draw some similarities of, all things being equal, that when Bill had teams that defense was a little bit better, and Andy Reid had teams the offense was a little bit better.
I think most people.
Belichick's better.
I would co-sign. Yeah. I would co-sign that Belichick is better.
But there is a groundswell about Andy Reid.
Right, but not here.
Sure.
If you
No,
were
not here.
Andy Reid is a buffoon who can't manage the clock.
Not here.
That's Andy Reid's reputation
But
here.
nationally, people are saying.
But no one thinks he's better than Belichick.
Tony Romo, Andy Reid, I don't know.
But I think part of it too is like it's an offensive league now. You can't play defense anymore. So you know what I mean? Like it's highlighted more that Andy Reid's a great offensive coach, and deservedly so. As the league moved more towards offense, it kind of highlights him a little bit. It highlights him. It's harder for Bill probably to build a defense and play at that level that he's famous for. When it was in like 03, 04, and those defenses.
And he went to 4 conference championships in a row.
Killing everybody.
As an offensive coach.
What?
And he went to 4 conference championships in a row as an offensive coach in a defensive era. Like, I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Andy Reid. He went to 4 conference championships in a row in a defensive era.
Well, I'm not.
He made a guy look a lot better than he was, and he fell apart as soon as he left Andy Reid.
Well, shouldn't he? I mean, if he's an offensive coach, that's what he should do.
So
right?
why was the 2011 defense so bad then? If it's just about having a defensive-minded coach or an offensive-minded coach,
he's good. He's good.
I think Bill is the better coach. I think he has more of a grasp on the head coaching duties. I think he's in the game. I think his game operation over the 20-plus years that I've watched is almost always great. That's why I think he's better than Andy Reid. But I think Andy Reid is criminally underrated around here. And I think comments like, who wouldn't win with Patrick Mahomes is an example of criminally underrating Andy Reid.
And I will say that Andy Reid's State Farm commercial is better than Bill Belichick's Subway commercial. I will give him that.
I like when he goes, I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
I like how they gave him a cheeseburger for Christmas.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that video?
Yeah, I think Bill is better. And I'm not trying to say that to pander. I'm not trying to just say, oh, no. I'm giving you all the reasons why I think Andy Reid is great, but Bill's better. I think Bill is the better coach. But I think Andy Reid is a great coach.
I think they're both great coaches. I just think that there's a real difference, though, that doesn't really get high. Like, they just get compared as coaches, and, they have their specialties, I think that's something to highlight. I'm not...
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make this into some long thing about, Andy Reid not being anywhere close to Bill Belichick.
No, it's good.
But
it's good debate. It's good discussion.
It's an interesting thing. I would have loved to see Andy Reid coach Mac Jones. What does that look like?
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to intrude on the. Should Tom Brady sign a one-day contract talk? That's lighting up the interwebs.
Cody in Nova Scotia just wanted to write to say I couldn't agree more with Fred's opinion on how irritated I get by Brady constantly being shown in Bucs jerseys.
Good job, Pander boy.
It's the same thing as how all of a sudden Manning is only shown in a Broncos jersey.
Where have you guys been for 3 years? Like, I'm the only one who hated Brady in Tampa Bay that would get bothered watching him, and now all of a sudden there's graphics up and people are losing their minds.
This is ESPN hatred, not Brady.
Well, to some extent, I feel it's an intentional slight to Patriots. But you know what? ESPN, like when he says they show, Manning in the Bronco, a lot of it's laziness. Because the more recent footage that they have at their fingertips is where he just played.
And now I'm going to go back to another thing, which I would get all mad whenever Antonio Brown thing was going on, and all they would show was him as a Patriot. And it was like, he's like a Steeler. And Paul would be like, well, he's just recently played for the Patriots.
Right, but not anymore.
I know. Well, that was, back
in that season. Once he played for Tampa, every time they show it's Tampa.
It's him catching
It's him throwing his uniform off and walking around with no shirt on.
Right. Tying it all together. Oh, man.
What a trip that was.
Oh, talk about! I mean, there's been like three. There's maybe been like two or three times.
I've lived like 4 lives.
So
as a
Alex,
Patriots
we
fan.
were upstairs in the bullpen.
Oh my God!
It was like a Friday. Remember, a Thursday or
Sitting
Friday?
around.
We're sitting around for like an hour just talking, and then all of a sudden they had to release them. You're like, what just happened?
What happened?
It was like a sigh of relief. But there have been, I don't know, maybe 2-3 times since being here, coming down to do this show, being like, oh God, I don't know what I'm going to say today.
How are we going to come up with something nice to say about that guy?
855-PASS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Let's get to the phones. Willems and Phillum. What's up? Oh, he hung up. He's out. How about David in Vegas? What's up, David?
Hey there.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I had a quick question for you. Now that this season is over, one of the most exciting people on the team for me was little Jordan Humphrey, and he got cut in November. And I don't really understand why a guy who was so excited in the preseason, who did so well with Bailey Zappi, got cut. But here I see futures contracts with Bill Murray and Trey Nixon and people who don't seem to make an impact at all.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you think of Tom Brady?
Little Jordan Humphrey had 2 catches all season.
Yeah.
I think that was a case where people were hyping that up as something.
And I'm going to guess that he didn't have any
raised.
from Bailey Zappi.
I mean, he was big and slow,
Yeah.
and I'm like, how many big, slow receivers do you need? If he had maybe some speed, that would have been one thing. But I
What
wasn't
made
all
you
that.
excited about him, David? Just curious.
I saw him when he came out to Las Vegas for the preseason, and it seemed like every time they threw a ball his way, he caught it, which
he
is
did
a
have a
big
good
deal these days with the
preseason game,
Patriots.
I think, against
To actually catch something.
Yeah.
And he also was 6'4" and 225. It seemed like he could do everything. And when Ty Montgomery went down, it seemed like here was the guy to step in, use him as the third tight end. And
Yeah, I think you got to take what he did as a whole, though. Not like there should be a disclaimer for preseason games. The results in preseason games do not, necessarily reflect future earnings. You know?
Plus, they were in 11 personnel
Thanks,
most
David.
of the year. I mean, heavy, just 3 receiver sets, and,
who's he
barely
playing
any
against?
2 tight ends. Like,
Yeah.
who are you pulling to get him on the field? And I'm saying that as somebody who's not pounding the everything for how great the receivers were.
But listen, in a season like last year, I can understand Patriots fans wondering why any guy didn't do more.
Right.
Right.
How is he not in there?
Right. Andrew's in L.A. What's up, Andrew?
Hey guys, we got to talk more about little Jordan Humphrey.
We're actually signing Lil Jordan to a 1-day contract,
Yeah.
so we can bring him back.
Okay. And can we retire his number?
Yeah.
What number was
You'd have to tell me what it was.
83.
It's just going to be Lil.
Welkers.
Just have Lil up there. No number.
All right. Well, I was in a work meeting, so I didn't get to hear. Is there plans to do like a Brady night, or what's?
There are no plans yet.
We kind of just planned it out here amongst ourselves.
Paul laid it out.
I'm here for you.
Just go about 3 minutes into the show.
Yeah,
Paul was an event coordinator in another life.
There are no plans at all.
That's funny.
I'm imagining that we won't know of
Headset
anything
on.
happening for months. Yeah.
I'm the guy that when Beth says we should do this, I
had
go,
a cool
I never thought of
idea,
that.
And you guys obviously can do with this what you want because you guys are the big shots. But I was just thinking about how many great moments there were at Gillette and how they happened all over the field with Brady. And if there was like a video, do you guys remember like in Sandlot when like they like fade away from the kids and then they're kind of like into the older person? And then they do it in like a lot of different movies about sports and everything. But I thought it'd be so cool if you had a camera and you were focusing on like one area of the field, and then you could kind of like dissolve into a play happening right there. And like the whole crowd reaction going on with that. And just like that night showing the best plays. And you guys could pick what plays you wanted to do. But like the Kenbrell Tompkins throw, how awesome that was. And just like dissolving into that play.
Yeah,
I
think that's a great idea. And like I said, when they did the Larry Bird night, the Celtics hired NFL Entertainment to produce it. And I think the Patriots would do well. Like, not that our content team isn't good, but I think we should look to NFL Films.
Show.
We should look to maybe Hollywood to really, produce the hell out of this thing. And ideas like that type of editing and concept, I think you need to do that because you want people's hair to stand on its edge, when they're watching this stuff.
Did your team do the video that got released when Brady retired? The announcement came out?
The 4-minute? Yeah, we did that. Yep.
That was awesome, guys.
Oh,
really
thank you.
good job.
Yep.
That really encapsulated like my life growing up. Because
Alex's too.
Literally.
I was 7 or something when they won the first Super Bowl. So my entire life has just been like Brady and like this franchise. So that really encapsulated like my entire fandom as a Patriots fan. So that was really awesome to see. So I appreciated that.
All right. Thanks for the call, Andrew. Andrew calling out of L.A. with L.A. ideas.
Well, that was a really good kind of blend of
it was
Deuce's idea.
And then I want to like build off of that. Is there maybe could you do it in like a VR thing, where like you go down and you're actually
or like at least like augmented reality where it's like a Snapchat filter highlighting that part of the field, and it's
maybe like
Andrew's gonna sit in on our next content meeting.
Maybe you really want to think big, and Meta, the company, they sponsor the thing, and everybody that comes in gets a quest, and you can do something like that. Yeah. Would that be awesome or what?
That'd be amazing.
Paul writes in, so just pretend for a minute that Brady announced his retirement yesterday, having never left the Patriots. How do you imagine the last 3 years would have gone? Obviously no Cam Newton, but do they still draft Mac Jones? What would their records have been? And is there a playoff run there? Okay, so
12-4, 12-4, and 12.
Yeah, there's a lot to
unpack. 12-4, 13-4, and 13-4.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there because if he had decided to stay for 3 more years, then something would have happened to make him stay. So they gave him the money, or they got him the weapons, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, but yeah, they'd be a hell of a lot better than they were. Yeah. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I'm just going off of what they had.
Yeah,
with him playing quarterback.
Yeah, but if there was no change to contract or money, he would have stayed.
But you have to give him. You would have had to have given him a contract to stay.
Right.
Because he didn't have one.
Right.
So obviously there would have been a change in the contract. It would have gone from nothing to something.
For a lot of money.
Yeah, whatever. But everything else is the same.
Why?
I'm not assuming that they got better.
But
I'm just saying they had the same players in him playing quarterback.
But why are you assuming that?
Because I can't assume that they got better.
But I'm assuming that if you're going to pay this guy to be your quarterback, it's a limited number of years left. We got to be all in. We got to do something.
Okay, well then I'm going to up my numbers then. 14 wins.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, if they went out and got loaded on both sides of the ball for him, then I think they could have won more Super Bowls.
Yeah.
That's unrealistic.
Why?
Why didn't they do it?
I don't know, but that's
we spent $200 and something million dollars in 21.
That's kind of my point. They didn't keep him, but we're in fantasy world here.
Yeah.
So in my world,
I was just trying to answer the question.
In my
what
world,
would have happened if Brady stayed?
And if he stayed, certain things would have had to happen to keep him here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just think the contract is the
only
only
thing
thing that would
mindset's
have been
different. If you're going to keep him, your mindset is different.
Yeah, but the only necessary change would have been signing him.
Yeah, necessary.
Right.
But in so doing, making the decision, we're going to sign this guy. We're going to give him, the money that he deserves as a starting quarterback in the NFL at his stature. I think other things happen as well. Okay, so we're doing this. Let's go.
So instead of 12-4, I'll go 14-2
and winning Super Bowls.
I got a good question similar to this in the mailbag this week.
Okay, I'll take it.
Saying after 2018, knowing what you know now, what would you have done different? And I just said, what if you just drafted Deebo Samuel instead of N'Keal Harry, and then you drafted A.J. Brown instead of Jawan Williams? And
what if you drafted Nick Chubb instead of Sony Michel?
I mean, it's just crazy. And usually I hate these games, but I think it's just crazy in this instance where you can literally swap the first and second round Patriots actual picks out. You would really lose no production at all from those two guys, and you could easily slip two of the most elite receivers in the game in right now. I don't know. For me, seeing in that context, what would have happened then if you got those two guys for him that are
right? And that's where I agree with Fred. You could definitely up the potential of winning. I was just trying to answer the guy. The guy was just saying if Brady was here and everything else stayed, which that to me is the more realistic thing because they're going to do whatever they do. I think they still would have won more games, even with the 2020 team with Brady.
Mike and Duval about Brady's greatest game. He thinks it was the Seahawks Super Bowl. He said, that same team completely destroyed Peyton 43-8 in the Super Bowl the year before. That was the best game I've ever seen with him at his best against the best.
Mm-hmm.
So, great. Best Brady plays. Neil, the throw to Amendola in the back of the end zone for his Jacksonville AFC Championship game was pretty sweet in my book.
Oh, that was a great catch, though.
Yeah, it was a great catch.
Wow. I mean, that was a great throw, too, but it was a better catch. Playoff Danny.
He's on a reality show right now. I just happened to turn on some reality show that's like an intense. almost like a military training show, like where they teach
He
you.
would-
And he's, I don't know. I walked in on something and he had to like rappel down a building and.
Remember
they're
when he
just-
was like publicly posting that him and his girlfriend broke up because she was too online and in the
Edelman's like,
scene?
you have to
Edelman,
stop.
dude, put the phone away.
And now he's on a reality show doing these men.
Yeah.
Cheddar's in Manchester. A couple more discussion points for the Brady tribute show. How do the NFL Hall of Fame committee top the way they voted in Manning, simply standing up and saying his name rather than presenting a body of work? Okay. And do you reckon any attention-seeking member abstains or votes against just to be the one?
No.
Bitter about Deflategate, Spygate, or whatever.
No, but that happens a lot.
Yeah.
It happened for John Elway.
Oh, yeah.
The presenter got up and said, John Elway.
Period.
That was it.
Yeah. Right. I think that's.
I
the way-
present John Elway.
I don't
That's
even
all.
think you should need a presenter. I should think they should walk in. We're putting in Brady.
Yeah. Right? 12? Yeah.
He also
I don't know because they don't make the voting public, do they? It's just just whoever gets in and whoever doesn't, right?
Individuals make their votes public. Yeah. It's like
So you don't. So you won't know if it was unanimous.
You won't. Peter King will come out and say, "This is how
he split
I voted."
he split his vote.
Yeah. Right.
But they won't. Like the all pro voting is the PFW. It's the AP of the 50 writers, and you can add them up. You can say like Patrick Mahomes got 43 votes. He wasn't unanimous.
And by the way, I'm going to preempt this. When you go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you go in as an individual, not as a member of any team. So I won't be mad if he doesn't go in as a Patriot.
Yeah.
Because you go in as Tom Brady. He also wants to know, might they rename or rebrand the 199th pick as the Brady? I think they should not have a 190. You know how like you go into an elevator,
it's like 13th floor.
No
You retire the draft pick.
There is no. You go from 198 to 200. There is no more 199th.
I
pick.
think they should retire the number 12 of the whole league too.
Paul thinks that's silly.
So, I think it's disrespectful
to the 199 guys.
No. The retiring the number for the whole league, which I'm not sure.
Oh,
if
you
it's,
shouldn't do that.
I'm not sure if that's
Jackie Robinson.
I'm not sure if that's a thing that's been serious or more tongue in cheek, but yes, it's disrespectful to Jackie Robinson, which is why the number 42 is retired in Major League Baseball.
You can't do that with football anyway. But I'm not.
Well,
in
you
favor of
could
that.
if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But
Well, if Tom was like some big like social leader,
correct.
Yeah.
Like.
Although, I mean,
There's
making Aaron Rodgers change his number, that would.
But every sport has a greatest player.
Right.
Like there's the best guy in the league in every sport. Should we just retire?
23s? No more 23s.
Yeah. No, it's you can't do that.
It's basketball, right?
I agree with
Very
your
good, Mike.
sentiments of
Good job.
using this as an opportunity to reset the parameters required for the Patriots' number retirement. The bar has been massively raised. If they do sign him to a one-day contract, I hope Bill still outs him on the injury report for old time's sake.
That's funny. But it'll be in the off season, so it'll probably be no injury report.
Yeah.
the ceremony
Actually,
is just
the
a
next
Tom
email,
roast
Paul,
by Bill.
Joel from Ottawa, just wondering what you guys think about the NFL retiring the number 12 all around. No.
What now? Why do you guys say no?
I think the Jackie Robinson thing. I mean, that's
Well, I hadn't even
precedent.
thought of that. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, but I just don't think that.
Well, there are other numbers that are retired across the board in leagues.
Not that
No.
I'm aware of. No, that's the only one.
'Cause I know there was talk about doing that for
Is
6.
6, yeah, that's the
for
only
Bill
one I have a
Russell.
question.
But I don't think it's happened, right?
Yeah, and I don't even think they should do that.
See, I do.
Yeah.
For a similar reason why Jackie Robinson is in baseball. Now, I think that stuff to me is about way more than ability. That's about impact and legacy and whatnot.
That's
Tom Brady's
social.
the greatest player who's ever played in the NFL.
Right.
It's not enough.
It's not enough to retire the number for every team.
No, I know. It's all right. Like,
Especially
can't he just be the greatest? Do
When
we
it's a
have-
number like 12, that's the most quintessential quarterback number, and the amount of legendary quarterbacks that have worn the number
Joe
12 for
Namath.
each individual franchise, it just gets too mucky.
Roger Staubach.
Sorry, Aaron.
Terry Bradshaw.
You're gonna need to change that.
Yeah.
What?
Aaron Rodgers. Let's see. Tom Brady. This is from Diane. Tom Brady won't sign a one-day contract coming from a Bucs season ticket holder. I live outside of Tampa, and I'm a Buccaneers STM. We became season ticket holders the day Tom Brady signed. I was a huge Tom
Bandwagon.
Brady and New England Patriot fan and would travel just to be able to see Tom play. We wouldn't believe he was signing. We couldn't believe he was signing here. How could our luck be this good? This will not be a popular comment, but I feel Tom would think it was disrespectful to the Buccaneers to sign a one-day contract with the Patriots. He won a Super Bowl here and was so embraced by the organization and city. He was so enthusiastic to be here his first 2 seasons, and when we visited practice, it was obvious. This season, his weight loss and lack of energy at practice was also obvious. Tom and Giselle were building in Miami. Obviously, that part of the equation has changed, but his children are here, and he has embraced Florida. He's not going to go back for ceremonial reasons. Why? And he's not going to be in the New England community for any length of time. I don't think
that part I agree with.
I don't think he's into things just for the ceremony of it, is he? I was a faithful listener of your show, and there is nothing close to it here in Tampa for the Bucs. I've weaned off over the last year, but hope you'd be talking Tom Brady today. Please know we freaked out the first few games we saw him in pewter and red too, and now I cannot believe I am saying I cannot imagine him in anything else.
Wow.
Wow.
That's good to hear from a fan in
totally
that
different perspective. Yeah.
And to her point.
Yeah, and it's a bad perspective.
But I said it when we were break for lunch. I felt like the 1-year contract is a little bit of an FU to the Bucs, and like, all right, let's just clear the palate, get them out of here. That's not about them anymore. Like I do feel like I hear what she's saying in regards to that, and.
He was here for 20 years.
Yeah,
right.
it's so different.
I almost
It's
wanted to
so
say, well, he
different.
was really committed to the Patriots for about the first 18 years.
Yeah. He was here for 20 years.
What was the weight
He was
loss
so-
thing she mentioned? That kind of struck me. Was that a
yeah,
weight loss thing?
You haven't seen him?
Yeah,
He looks like he has
he's
like
lost a lot-
Ozempic face right
He's
now.
lost a lot of weight. He's lost like 15 or 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Stress.
Yes.
I just feel like it's been like since he took that rookie photo where he's got like this big round.
That was
moon face.
reported, by the
it's
way.
like
It's
he's
not-
slowly just like you look at the progression of pictures, he's been thinning out over the last 23 years.
No, but there was like I think his boy there. Why can I never remember
Alex?
his name?
Alex?
No. Jeff Darlington. I don't know why I keep forgetting that name. Jeff Darlington reported that he suffered a significant weight loss. I think he said 15 pounds.
Wow.
Which a guy like that can't afford
Not
to lose.
on-
15. That's not like me losing 15 pounds throwing a lounge chair off the Queen Mary.
Because of stress, you think? Or like.
I would think.
Yeah. Because I mean, he's already doing everything eating wise, exercise wise. Like what else?
Yeah.
What else would it be?
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I hear what Diane's saying, but, okay, you're welcome. You had him for 3 years. You won a Super Bowl, but he's a Patriot. I'm sorry. 20 years, 6 Super Bowls, 9 appearances. Come on.
Speaking of faux outrage.
I'm not. It's
I'm
not
feeling
faux.
it.
Nothing
feeling it.
faux
I'm not
about
faux.
it,
It
pal.
pisses me off when ESPN or NFL Network has to deliberately we have to make sure it's 50-50 in terms of the B-roll. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Oh, I know. PFW is represented every time. I'm here for that.
Pops up a lot.
Dynasty.
Yeah. Pat Nagawam, how great would it be if they honored Brady at halftime of the Germany game?
Oh, God.
Not
No.
great.
Not good, Bob.
Yeah, not great.
Germans would be like, what?
Not good, Bob.
Now, would I love Tom to go to Germany with us and do a tour? No.
Geez.
Yes.
See,
yes.
now, if your one-day ceremonial contract includes something like that, that's worth it.
Get him on PU, the pub.
Now, the fact that he just went to Germany last year to play is probably not likely to happen.
Maybe there's something there, Fred. PU pub, PU from the pub. I'm just saying, PUB. Good
Okay.
ideas.
Yeah. Keep working on that.
File that one away.
Keep workshopping that.
Let's just stick with my Tom Brady night.
Katina in Houston.
It's my retirement plan.
She says, I'd like to thank the PU crew for providing me with so many valuable life lessons that go beyond football.
This ought to be good.
I got some peanut butter on my fingers yesterday while making my kids a sandwich, and I happen to hate peanut butter. So this is my worst nightmare. My sons had already run off, so I couldn't ask them to get me a napkin. I was also super lazy and didn't want to get up from my stool or touch anything, so I looked around trying to figure out the easiest way to deal with this without moving. And saw my new puppy hanging out by my feet.
Oh, she pulled a Fred.
I put my hand down and he predictably licked it off. Eventually, when I stood up, I washed my hands. I figured if it's good enough for Boss Man Kirsch, it's good enough for me.
I was wondering where that was going.
I knew it was going somewhere like that. I just didn't know where.
Since this is my first dog, I don't think I would have ever thought to do this before the wings explanation. The podcast is invaluable. And I hope Mr. Kraft is well aware of that.
The podcast is invaluable.
Please write to Mr. Kraft and tell him so.
That's right.
Oh, dogs are good that way. Absolutely.
Clean up. Multitask.
Yeah.
Multi-purpose.
Yeah. I mean, it's a win-win.
No.
The dog gets it and win, and I get a
clean,
win.
and you get some slob on you, but that's all right.
Yeah. Eventually, you take a shower the next day or whatever.
Spill something on the floor, call the dog in.
Oh, I'm in a battle for my life right now because my family wants a dog bad, and there's one holdout. It's me, and I'm running out of excuses.
Because you think you're one that's going to have to take care of it, right?
I mean, a little bit, but it's more just like I don't need a whole nother thing in my life.
But if
right
you
now.
trust that it'll be a family obligation to take care, then do it.
Yeah.
If you don't trust your
I'm gonna
family
get
to do it,
overruled.
then
I can feel it.
Have you
I
guys
was
ever
going to
had
say,
a
do you
dog?
have any chance whatsoever of winning?
Probably not.
Because in my house, I would have no shot.
Trying to run out the clock.
So then refocus your thing instead of not getting it to focus to getting the dog you want.
Yeah.
The type of dog you want.
I think I might be a little allergic to, so that's part of it. That I'm just like, I don't
baby.
know.
Brilliant.
I'm allergic
Take some
to dogs.
Flonase.
That's brilliant,
Take some
Deuce.
Flonase.
I don't want to be on prescription drugs the rest
Papa
of my life.
Zyrtec.
No, just spend enough time. You deal with it for like 2 weeks, and then
know
you
what?
just get used to them.
Everybody's been
I'm
telling me
definitely
my
allergic
whole
to
life
dogs.
about my allergies, and I'm like, I never once like, oh no, just deal with it. Like
Deal with it.
I walk in a house with
Deal
a
with
dog,
it.
and I'm like, I don't know. It's my story. It's my battle.
Take a Zyrtec.
So what do you do in
Yeah.
terms of like if you and Nikki are going out?
What for? How
With the
long?
But that's basically my question because that's my reservation about a dog. It's not necessary. I wouldn't mind
Hotel.
taking my dog for a walk. I wouldn't mind cleaning up. I mean whatever it is,
Yeah.
what it is. I can't handle like I tell you all the time. My brother, I do a lot. I socialize with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law all the time. They live right around the corner from us. The amount of times they cut night short because the stupid dog drives me absolutely insane.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. When we both work, like we have a dog walker that comes and takes him out during the day because you don't want to leave him at home all
Yeah,
day.
right. That's cruel.
If you go on a vacation, you got to board him. You got to send him to a boarding. I hate that.
My sister's a dog nanny.
Yeah.
She's going to vet school right now, but for people that don't want to board their dog, she'll go stay at your house.
I'm glad
I got her card if you guys
saved
want
that
it.
story
If you
quickly.
want it,
No,
Mike.
but that was the next thing.
I was like, that's the millennialist job
I'm
ever.
going on vacation. I'm going on vacation in a couple weeks, and I don't want to board them. So there's this rover.com. You can go on and you can find, and we found this guy that he's going to come and he's going to babysit the dog for a week.
Honestly, I want Danielle to drop out of vet school. I think the dog nannying's more lucrative for her. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, it ain't
I made
cheap.
her a little logo and a Facebook page, and she hasn't looked back since. It's
But
been
she
like
can
4
keep
years.
doing the same thing, and then if she's an actual vet, and she can actually take care of these
doctor
these dogs,
Yeah.
like, that's like.
But Paul's point is
extra
right.
cha-ching.
It does put a hamper on things.
Yeah.
you
Now
know?
I've never had
I don't want a
had a
hamper.
dog.
I don't want any hamper.
I don't want a hamper. I don't know about a damper,
live
but
my
I don't want a
life.
hamper either.
Yeah.
I've
See,
never.
I can't imagine growing up without a dog.
I've never had a dog, so
No,
I
I
can't
never
say
had a
that
dog
I
either.
wouldn't. I would be adversely affected. I don't generally like dogs, but
Paul would be the
That
person
tells me a
who
lot about
doesn't
him.
want the dog, hates the dog, but
This
then
is
the
absolutely
dog
true.
comes
and this
home.
is yes,
What
and
she-
that's
what-
what
And
what
then
Alex
the
is saying
dog
right now is
cuddles
1,000%
up to his
true.
lap
Oh,
on
yeah.
the recliner,
That's
and
what
they
the
watch
stupid
TV
cat
together.
does it to me now.
over there. Give him some love. Oh, give him a love.
I get home and the cat is like,
The dog
where
will
you,
listen
where
to
you
no
been
one
all
but
day?
Paul too.
No, Paul. Yeah, I can see cats though. I think you like the cats. Like, right? They don't.
Because
It's
the cats are
meet the parents.
self-sufficient.
It's like
But
they don't
they're
make you work for
kind
their
of
affection.
Vicious and selfish,
Not
and
my,
Cats?
not my cat.
yeah,
Well, but they're good. I love cats too.
they can't be trusted though.
Why?
Because
trust
you'll
it to
be
what?
hanging
You
out
think they're
and
gonna
playing
steal
with
from
it,
you? I don't
and it'll be perfectly fine in
What's
one
the
minute.
silverware? I don't know. Meow took it.
Physically
Anybody
afraid.
see my wallet?
No, the cat will just swipe at you randomly. You'll just be hanging
'Cause it
out
wants to
thinking you're
play.
having a good, calm time, and then all of a sudden it scratches
It
you.
wants your
Yeah,
attention.
see, that's only when Will does, because Will Will uses it as a wishbone, and all of a sudden they'll be playing for like 20 minutes, and all of a sudden Will will come up with a gash on his neck. What happened? Cat. Like he tortures the cat.
No, that's not nice.
But the cat loves him. Sleeps in Will's bed every night.
But see, Alex, I don't trust dogs. Like to Paul's point, I didn't grow up with dogs, so like I just don't have like this like
Right.
innate immediate comfortability with a dog. Like every dog, I'm like he might bite me in the face at any second. Like
right.
I just
and
have that.
That's my. Like it wasn't me. It was my sister when she was little. Got bit in the face by a dog. So like that to me is.
Yeah.
Getting bit in the
No,
face.
I have no use for
it's
dogs.
I don't need to get
traumatizing.
bit in the face.
Yeah.
Nope.
Kevin in Dublin, spitballing here, but what about waiting for Belichick's retirement to have a special induction of Brady, Bill, and Kraft in a series of inductions into the Patriots Hall of... No.
You can have one for Bill too.
Yeah. Not
Like I don't.
They each deserve their own thing.
Right. I don't want the sharing of the spotlight.
Yeah. They each deserve.
Who's going to go first? Whose speech
The
was
narratives
longer?
around that would
Who
be
thanked
so
more the other more nicely?
Now you want to talk about insufferable? My show.
Yeah. Breaking it down.
Breaking it
Going
all.
to the all 22
breaking it all
for that.
down.
They're going to the all 22 on the.
Felger and Maz would be all over that.
Wait, I have a question. What was I heard that I came into Felger and Maz yesterday and I heard them laughing about. I guess Diana Rossini had like a reaction to Brady's video saying it was like one of the most emotional things she'd ever seen. I don't know. Tony was like losing his mind about it. I didn't see it, but
that was emotional.
I know that's what that's why I think Tony.
I thought
was
it was
going
perfect.
Crazy.
By the way,
I thought it was. Yeah, I don't know. Nobody saw what her reaction was. I guess it was a little over the top.
Yeah, I thought it was completely appropriate.
Yes,
given what.
Yeah,
it was about as close to perfect as you can get.
He did a great job.
Low budget, just shoot yourself.
But emotional, like
I
he already he retired exactly a year
Please
ago.
check. I don't want to be wrong
will.
about that. Please check. I came in and they were talking about
Like-
it, and Maz was like ready to explode. I guess talking
Well,
about it.
I mean, it doesn't take much. You want to make fun of me with my snark?
I know. No, well, you could tell like Felger could see, and it happens sometime on our show too, where you see a guy has a look on his face and he's got something to say and he's champing at the bit, and that was like Felger. Like, I can see what. All right, Maz, your thoughts, Maz. I'll let him unload.
Alan or AJ in the Bay Area, but he's from Providence. I also have a
tough one last night.
Ton of gratitude for the 2 decades of dominance and all the titles. Our experience as local fans was unreal, and Brady was probably the most integral part of that success. For me as a fan, the ceremonial contract would mean a lot. I understand he and the organization have their differences, and nobody knows just how sour the situation may have become. I've learned to accept that his career ended with a different team, but a ceremonial contract and officially ending his career as a Patriot would be a statement that he viewed himself more as a former Patriot than a former Buck. Any refusal to acknowledge that would leave me without the proper closure, never knowing for sure that Brady still identifies with the team that I've been rooting for all my life, and I still do. It would reassure me that a bridge was not permanently burned. Right now, I don't quite know that.
That last point.
Do you know that, Fred? Do you think he thinks of himself as a former Patriot or a former Buck?
I hope
more than a former Buck.
I hope he does. I don't know that. I don't know
You
for
too?
sure.
Alex?
I think he has to think of himself.
I don't
as
even think this is a question.
Yeah, it has.
I'm a football
No, he's a former Patriot first and foremost. I think I don't spend any time wondering if he thinks that. I don't. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys need this.
I don't know. Like
I don't.
10, 15 years down the road, what are people going to identify him with?
I don't think anybody
You know, like
identifies him
it's-
with the Bucks now.
The Bucks were like a 2-second footnote. He didn't even want to stay. He wanted to go to Miami. So
Exactly. Which is why I think another good point about
to
that.
whoever that commenter was.
I know, but I was just going to say, to her point, so very well written, and she recognized it. 2 years, he was all in.
Yeah,
you can't make an argument that he was in this year when he was getting caught tampering with Miami.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it, too, with the whole timing of his announcement yesterday, because the whole thing I said at the beginning of the show, that they recommitted to Tua. Sean Payton's out. They can't go back to Miami because it's too shady. That's out. I'm out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Amir wants to compare Brady to Mahomes. Do we want to read that email? I don't know.
I mean, I think we'd all agree that Brady's better than Mahomes.
Yeah.
Right now.
He says he thinks Mahomes is great, but he had a discussion with a friend of mine regarding who's better. My main point is that I've seen Mahomes lose big games for the Chiefs. Not only that the team lost, but the loss was directly related to his level of performance. The Tampa Super Bowl and last year's AFC Championship game for Cincinnati. I simply don't recall a big game where Brady disappeared. You always knew he had a chance to win, and you never left the game saying Brady lost us the game.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if that's the criteria, then I've never seen Mahomes not show up. I'm sorry. Losing in overtime in the AFC Championship game to the Bengals is not a no-show.
Yeah.
He didn't play well.
I don't.
He didn't play well in the Cincinnati game last year. Absolutely not. But he didn't.
But it's the same thing we talked about with Brady, where even when he had some rough patches, like you knew, it was probably going down to the wire.
I'll give you losses that he
didn't
show up in, like the Super Bowl against the Giants for the perfect season. Now, you could tell me all you want about the line just let down that day. They scored 14 points. Yeah. They averaged 40 points a game, and he scored 14 in the Super Bowl.
But he did score that touchdown to go ahead 14-10. It's like, okay.
It's right there.
And then,
they need a touchdown.
just like the Chiefs scored enough points to get into overtime in a game that Mahomes played like crap in against Cincinnati, and they lost.
All right, Paul doesn't like Brady.
No, I just think that criteria is still I don't think the Chiefs have lost playoff games, quote unquote, because of Mahomes.
Yeah.
When he's not great, they've lost.
Yeah. Let's see.
He's also like 10-3 in the playoffs.
Anthony writes in, I heard this on the radio this morning, and it's one of those times like I wish I could set them straight. But they said, what if Bob Kraft decided to rename the stadium Tom Brady Stadium? It's not like he needs the money for the naming rights from Gillette. An NFL stadium basically prints money. An NFL team basically prints money. Take the hit, Mr. Kraft, and do it. So here's the thing. I get it, right?
I don't.
But
the folks from Gillette
team,
would probably
when
like
you
how
have
it worked.
naming rights for your stadium, that revenue gets shared with the other teams. Yeah. And like for a long time, Mike Brown from the Bengals, or I don't know which one.
Bills.
The Bill. No.
Ralph Wilson Stadium.
No. But yeah, when they don't get the naming rights, other owners criticize them because they're not contributing to the pool.
Yeah.
And so like they would never do that because of that. It's not that they need the money. It's that if you don't name your stadium, you're taking away from all the other teams as well.
And that's big money too, isn't it? Those naming
Oh
rights.
yeah,
I mean, that's
it's like $10 million a year.
I mean, the Staples Center was willing to rename to a company that's now, I think, bankrupt just because they dropped the most money on them.
That happens a lot, actually.
The
fleet
so
happened here.
Robert Kraft,
American Airlines.
Robert Kraft could be magnanimous and do Tom Brady Stadium, but the other owners would be saying, "Hey, wait, you're taking money out of our pocket."
Right.
Here.
The Bills got a lot of criticism for that, Freddie. You nailed that.
Yeah, and the Browns did too for a long time. It was Brown Stadium, and they would, we'll never sell the naming rights. Well, not only do you, I don't want to get into it.
I don't need to name a stadium for a quarterback.
Fans don't like to talk about and shouldn't like all the money behind the. Who cares?
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of those things. I mean, I know that's kind of a big trend in basketball. Like you name the court after the legendary coach.
Oh, really?
Still inside the building.
Could we just name the
Coach
field?
K court inside Cameron Indoor Stadium?
I hate that stuff.
I'm not a big fan.
Joel says, just as a point of argument, the NHL retired 99. And he wasn't symbolic the way Jackie Robinson was. Did they? Did they retire 99? I know they put him into the Hall of Fame.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't.
I was just saying. I didn't know it, but I think he's right. Now that he brings it up, I think we've talked about it in the past, and I didn't remember it. I think he's right. I think it's dumb. It's also 99. No one else is wearing it anyway, but it's not like Alex said. 12's an iconic number in the NFL.
He was the greatest, but before him, there were another.
Gordie Howe.
Or Bobby Hull, or whoever you want to consider was the greatest.
Bobby Orr.
Yeah.
Deuce finally got interested.
I know, right? He's like,
see that? Like, did he really? Just
I will say this though.
Did he really just talk about legendary players and not mention Bobby Orr?
Did they do this in basketball too? I long for the days when it was like hockey numbers were just normal. Like Charlie McAvoy is 74. Like Marchand's 63. Like
I think McAvoy's 73.
73.
DeBrusque's 74.
Sorry, that's why it's
Cliffy
unmemorable.
Hockey,
like I want like
Come on.
16s. I want 9. Like I don't know. I just all these.
In my day, goalies were 1 or 30
right,
or 31.
Right, that's it. I know.
All right. Listen, I got to get going.
Another meeting today?
Yeah, so that's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. Everybody have a good weekend. We didn't go over our picks last week because there's no game this week. But who won, just by the way?
I can tell you that, actually.
I think I
was
did.
1-1.
I believe Fred did win. Yes. Freddie was 2-0 both ways, and the rest of us were 1-1.
Perfect week.
Yes, you were perfect.
It's the playoffs.
Perfect in your perfection.
Yeah.
Bengals did me
dirty. But we will do picks next week. For
Bengals
the Super
didn't do
Bowl,
you dirty. The referee did.
As we get more information in from the Sharps. Oh, by the way, Kansas City did come out as 2.5-point favorites in the line.
They opened as the favorite.
And then now it's 2.5 for the other side. So a lot of Philly money coming in.
It's coming in.
A lot of Philly money. All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.